Warcraft, baby! Yeah! My nipples are all hard and
I'm gonna pwn noobs.
We're at EB Games in West Hollywood for the release of the Burning Crusade.
Waiting for the World of Warcraft expansion to come out.
Do you guys play together?
No, we play different servers. He's Forward, I'm Alliance.
Oh, that's like separate bedrooms.
Wait until she levels up so I can kill her.
we knew what a magnitude it would be, but, honestly didn't think it would be this big of a line.
There's a bunch of noobs here. I can see them.
Have your receipts ready, I'll make it go faster.
You know, I'm looking forward to the new Alliance race.
New levels, new weapons.
Flying mounts, new professions, new races.
I'm looking for World PvP because I hate Horde, so I kill Horde when I see Horde.
The Horde! I think I'm looking forward to my little pet that I'm going to get when I get the collector's edition.
I wanted the pet.
If someone doesn't play WoW, what do you say to convince them?
I really didn't have to say much. I got him into WoW. I got like 7 of my friends into WoW. My ex-girlfriend, emphasis on the ex.
I wouldn't talk to them if they don't play WoW.
It feels great. So who's hotter, the Night Elves or the Blood Elves?
Oh, the Blood Elves.
Blood Elves.
Night Elves. Night Elves.
I would say that the Night Elves are probably 17.334% hotter than the Blood Elves, repeating, of course.
My main is a Tauren Shaman. His name's Thangor. That's what I'm talking about. He's a elemental, so he's really into doing a lot of damage for as much as he can. I have an Orc Hunter. I have a Troll Rogue, and I have an Undead Mage. So I like doing a lot of damage.
I got tomorrow off of work, and I got today off of work to level all day, and tomorrow off of work. So tonight I'm gonna buy it, go set it up, and play all night long.
I got to work at 7. I'll probably play right up until I get to work.
All night until school in the morning.
Yeah, I got the laptop in the car so I can load it on the way, in all honesty.
I don't know. I'm just install it and just try to get maybe up to level 62 or something. It's probably gonna take a while, but however long it takes.
I think people are afraid of how powerful we are, because if we were to unite, which we already have, and begin to take over the world, I think 8 million people now, I think that the world would be in for a big surprise when 900 shaman come running over that mountainside, you know what I'm saying?
There's a collector's edition on the back. Yeah, you got yourself the DVD collection with behind-the-scenes stuff. You get the soundtrack from the game. You get the art of the game. You get a collector's edition card pack. And the reason why I came, the Netherwelt pet. Free map with every purchase.
Tell me about your most epic quest or battle to date.
Raiding this girl's molten core.
I've heard some of the women I know that play complaining that the new female character models promote an unrealistic standard of beauty. There's no reason for, a supernatural adventure to have birthing hips. It's just no reason.
I'm gonna do an impression of my paladin, and one thing that I love about the paladin is healing. It's I get to heal my friend. They just do this with holy, I don't know, bubbles, and then boom.
I've been waiting long enough. 10.5-hour shift of work, 6-hour wait for the game. It's a good day.
I just bought one, but I bought everything else, the binder, the book. No, I'm going to go home, install it, take a shower, log on, try to claim some names.
I'm very psyched.
What would get you to stop playing? I don't want to stop. Why would I want to stop?
I'm going to the Dark Portal! Woo! I'm almost level 61!
Very excited to play this. I've been waiting.
How long are you going to play for?
All night. All week maybe. All week.
You don't have to work tomorrow?
Work. There's no such thing as work with WoW.
I'm Jeff Kaplan. I'm lead game designer on World of Warcraft: The Burning Crusade, and we're going to tell you a little bit about our new expansion pack coming out this year. The Burning Crusade is actually going to cater to both playstyles, people who have been playing WoW since it released in 2004 of November, and brand new players. So the new players will have 2 new races to play. So if they purchase expansion right away, they can play the Blood Elves or the Draenei and get right into it. What's exciting about the Blood Elves is they're kind of the first pretty race that the Horde has gotten. A lot of the Horde characters are very monstrous, which turn off a lot of players. A certain demographic only likes to play really attractive looking characters, so the Blood Elves will bring a prettier face to the Horde, and also their starting lands are very beautiful. Most of the Horde starting areas are very harsh and desolate, or kind of gloomy and rainy, and the Blood Elf starting area, Eversong Forest, is this beautiful elven forest, so we think it'll be pretty exciting for people to play. The Draenei are certainly not ugly. A lot of people ask us, are you going to make an ugly race for the Alliance since you're making such a pretty race for the Horde? But the problem we have is we just want to make everything as cool as possible, so we weren't trying to purposely make the Alliance race ugly. In fact, if you look at the female Draenei, she's actually quite beautiful. The male is very buff and has a very distinct look. So we were going for something that was mainly cool, and they definitely look alien and different than the normal races of the Alliance, but they're by no means ugly. It was kind of a holy or protected subject on the development team, whether or not we wanted to let the other classes switch over to the other side. And ultimately, we felt like we were constantly pushing the Paladin and Shaman in the same direction in order to keep them fair. Whenever we'd add something cool to the Paladin, we'd have to add an equivalent to the Shaman. And the way World of Warcraft class design works, each class has extremely distinct and unique abilities and sort of mechanics supporting that class. So we had 2 conflicting design philosophies going on, and we were more interested in making the Shaman and Paladin distinct from each other rather than constantly having to play a game of fairness. So we feel like now that we've crossed over onto the other alliances, we have the design freedom to push the classes in any direction we want. One of the most exciting things about the expansion is the chance to open up new areas. World of Warcraft takes place in the Warcraft universe, which has existed for a number of years. Blizzard's been making Warcraft games for over a decade now. But what'll be exciting for WoW players is the fact that they'll have all these new lands to adventure in. So a lot of Outland looks very desolate and ripped apart. You'll see a lot of pieces of rock floating off into the twisting nether, but we've also had some areas of the new continent that are pristine and beautiful, because we realize players don't like constantly playing in that oppressive feel of a desert environment or a harsh environment. So we really try to mix up the scenery that players get to see. The new quests span the whole range of gameplay. We have a lot of quests that are just fun, what we call bread and butter quests, where players can go out and solo or group with one other person and complete a number of quests in one night. We also have quests that are more group oriented, so if you want to get 5 other people together and do some more challenging content like a dungeon or something like that, you can do that as well. There are actually huge changes to PvP in this expansion, and that's something that I'm pretty excited to talk about. We felt like our initial implementation of the PvP system was pretty good, but it had some inherent flaws. Currently, players spend a lot of time invested in earning their way through the PvP system, and while it is a competitive system, they're competing with players on their own side, which kind of goes against the core philosophy of World of Warcraft, which is Horde versus Alliance. So in this expansion, we're really excited to introduce a arena combat system, and the way that will work is players get to form teams. Right now we're thinking 2 versus 2, 3 versus 3, and 5 versus 5. We might change those numbers as we get into beta. But you can actually form this team separate from your guild, separate from a group, and then compete in a very competitive ladder. There's 2 modes to it. One is just practice mode, so you can get better.
Doing great.
Fantastic.
Very good.
Oh, you love it. You gotta love it.
Chat, can you hear me? We had a good run. It was not. They could hear me. In my defense, you guys couldn't. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's so funny, dude.
Yeah, it is what it is, man.
It would be GMA without it.
Exactly.
Let's try it again. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
Hey, it's just we had to warm up, guys. We had to warm
man.
up.
Yo, welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Winky, it's great to see you. Thanks for the sub. Destructo as well. Thank you, guys. Welcome back to another episode. Good morning, Azeroth GMA 59. A lot to get through today. We're going to be doing an ultimate class picking guide. I mean, I've never seen a class picking guide with 5 human beings that have been playing the game for like way too long. Talk about things and like, you know, the more and more you play, right? Everybody in the chat can hopefully feel me on this. Like you just learn stuff, right? Like your opinion on stuff changes, and I feel like with the beta out now and things might have shifted, so we're here to provide that for you today. We'll also be going over some of the classic era changes that have been in the woodwork. Also beta updates and hype. We'll be talking about just all things TBC, man, and the best game of all time, right? So,
Hell yes.
Def Camp, could you please bless the audience? Can you please bless the audience with good RNG for 2021?
Here we go, baby. As of, I'm not level 68 yet, but getting prepared for it. When I drop a prayer of mending on the chat. Here we go. Good morning, Azeroth. Level episode 59. Woo! Let's go, baby.
How you hear it in Meltron's microphone?
Yeah, I know. I gotta turn off. I gotta shut the door.
Dude, I feel bad for our neighbors, bro. Before we used to have the crackheads above us, now we are the crackheads above.
Now you are the crackheads.
Now we are the crackheads. Oh, baby.
We've come a long way.
Yep.
Can
you guys hear any music as well in the chat? Sorry, not the best at this. You do hear music? Good. Just hopefully the sound is good. If there's any issues, let us know. We'll fix it up for you. So let's just get started with just intros and catch up. Let's start from the top. It's been a couple weeks, I think, since our last GMA. Dunedin, what's new with you, man? You got into the beta, which is new news.
Yes.
How's it going?
That's very big news for me personally. I got into the beta since yesterday. So yesterday evening, I played the first few hours, and today I had a couple of hours. So I think all in all, I played like 5 hours of beta, and that's very nice. Playing Horde side, because then I can play with you guys. So and I have holiday now, so I can level up fast.
Yep, we converted them.
We'll have to send you some gear, I guess. Some of these like OP greens, right?
Wow, yeah, I can tell you when you do the boosting thing, the 58 boost, the gear is so crap, so you can hardly kill anything in Outland.
Yeah. And it's worse for hybrid characters, because we tried doing a all boosted dungeon with 5 of us, and as I made a shaman, so they don't just give you a resto set, an LE set, and an enhancement set. No, they give you 3 pieces of gear with intellect, 3 pieces of gear with agility, 3 pieces of gear with stamina. So trying to heal that dungeon as a resto shaman with 2,000 intellect or 2,000 mana was we couldn't kill the last boss. We got all the way up to the last boss, and it was so hard. It felt like doing heroic, mythic plus 15 or something like that.
Really, with the communal set. Apparently, it's level 40 gear or something, right?
It's super undertuned.
It's even worse than that. It's how Blizzard has nerfed the boost, giving you almost unplayable gear.
Yeah, it's not even worth buying the boost, guys. Not at all.
Just don't buy it.
Don't buy it. They'll probably give different gear for the actual boost, but who knows?
Yeah,
I would think they have to, because that gear is just it's almost unplayable. It's rough.
It's workable. I mean, I hit as hard as I do on my Holy Paladin on actual classic. So
there you go. There you go. Yeah.
That's funny. How about you, Melderon? What's new with you, brother?
Not much, man. Just been playing a lot of Shaman, obviously. I've been testing all 3 specs. I've noticed some significant bugs. One of them being that the downranking penalty is currently not working at all. So, if you guys don't know, downranking was introduced in TBC to kind of discourage the use of lower ranked spells in endgame content, and that actually isn't working right now. So, healing is super buffed right now because you can use a bunch of low-level heals. and also found some significant bugs with enhancement. But we can talk about that later.
So
But
what is the penalty again? Just real quick on the down ranking. You still do down rank at TBC quite a lot, but I think with regard to like healing and straight up just using damaging spells, the coefficient's a bit wonky or something. What is it again?
So the equation is the level the spell was trained. So like the level that the spell was available to be trained, the rank, right? Plus 11 divided by your current level, and then you multiply that number to the actual spell coefficient for the penalty itself. If it's a pre-level 20, there's even you multiply all 3 penalties. But so currently that downranking penalty portion is not there. So you could use. I was using rank 1 chain heal just now, and it was like super powerful, you know.
Gotcha.
And then enhancements. The mental quickness is providing double the spell power it should be right now for enhancement. So enhancement slapping.
Yeah.
What if these are some like secret buff changes to make the classes better? Tinfoil hat.
We'll talk about that.
They better buff the content then. Yeah.
You know, there are not to have a tinfoil hat, like, you know, Blizzard has made some changes, and those changes reverberate through the game, and there are some differences now. Just like vanilla is not the same as, you know, classic WoW, and we can talk about some of those changes. It has some of the PvPers up in arms, which we can talk about and stuff. But how about you, Def Camp? How's your time in the beta, man? I know you've been playing a lot with Melderon and leveling up. A couple characters.
I've been playing Priest. Yeah, I've been playing Priest primarily. And it feels absolutely amazing now. So spirit-based mana regen was not working at all in the beta. They recently fixed it. So since they fixed it as leveling Shadow with Spirit Tap, like I was telling the guys earlier, I haven't drank like at all. Like it's constant, and I have Shadow Feed now, right? So it's just constant, and it feels so good, man. You got Shadow Word Death, you got Vampiric Touch. What's that?
I was gonna say bars hate him. He's no longer drinking.
That's funny, man.
That's right. I'm clean.
It's a good video title, thumbnail.
But there, you know, like Melderon said, there's still some bugs that I'm hoping they get fixed. Like as a healer, I'm like, so I've been healing dungeons. I respec all the time, right? Yes, guys. Like I've been respecing probably like 3-4 times a day at least. And the one thing that I really hope they put in there soon is, you know, interface options, and then the scrolling combat text. They haven't added the healing text that you see on other people. So as a healer, it's like a big pet peeve of mine. I hope that they add that soon. Yeah, there's other little bugs here and there, but they have been fixing stuff pretty quickly. And you know, like I said, we had some fun earlier. We did Escape from Durnhold last night. That was a lot of fun. I beat Melderon in a duel last night. That was a lot of fun. Made some money from it. Because like I said, Melderon with enhancement being broken is like one-shotting me. But we were able to beat him last night. So
that's not why I one-shot you again.
Yeah, that was why. But like I said, you know, I've been streaming a lot. You guys know I've been like
you've been going hard, man. It's great to see
every day, and I'm having a blast, man. I'm having an absolute blast. Yeah.
You've been pumping, man. Hey, how about you, brother? Your stream's been popping off, man. Looks like it's been going good with you. How's your experience with the beta so far? How you been, brother?
Yeah, everything's been going good. Now I have about like a rate of people watching me every time. It's been fantastic, and
awesome.
The beta's been a ton of fun. We've been basically grouping like, you know, with Def Camp and Melderon and like Josh from Countdown, like in Costine, pretty much every dungeon. It's just been like a ton of fun blasting those dungeons out, and they've been doing constant updates as well. There's a lot of like kind of like game systems and stuff broken, so Blizzard's been putting like a ton of work into getting those things fixed up, and every patch they put out is like a big significant chunk of issues being worked on. So like it actually feels really good. Every update there's big fixes. So they're definitely putting in a lot of work to make sure this is getting up to speed.
Yeah, well, let's like start the conversation there. You're talking about, you know, from what you're saying and what Def and Mel have been saying, seems like Blizzard is staying on top of the bugs. Also, last time we spoke, you guys were mentioning that it feels very rough, the beta, but they are staying on top of it. The other aspect to talk about is, you know, the hype level, and you know, what does hype really mean? You know, does it mean? I mean, it is significant, right? Like to be too much of a hype beast is probably a bad thing, where you just care about. You're only interested in something if it's super hype, but people have been saying that the hype in the beta is low. I don't know if you even agree with this or not. They might have let in a huge new wave. I've been a bit out of the loop for the past couple days. Let's just talk about the status of the beta, the status of TBC, the hype level. Whatever comes to mind. Let's open it up.
Yeah. Go ahead, Al. Yeah.
Call me McDonald's because I'm loving it, but it definitely feels like there's some like significant community figures who aren't really in the beta as much. So I wonder if an overall, as a whole, like the Warcraft community is a little bit less hyped than they were for Classic, because there is some noticeable names that haven't been playing or streaming it very much. Like as for like our group, like I think we're super hyped about it, but I'd like to see more of the rest of the community, those people in it who, play it a bit more, and I'm not really sure why that is actually.
Yeah. I think it's definitely, like, for me, I was expecting a lot more hype just because, like, personally, this is my favorite iteration of the game, and I thought, how everyone's gonna be going nuts and crazy, and people are to an extent, but you really can't compare it to like the Classic beta because that was the first time a lot of people got to see Classic in 15 years, right? So it's so different if you're trying to compare it from the Classic beta. Obviously, Classic has been out now for almost 2 years. But like, Al was saying, and I had noticed, like, obviously you say, like someone like Asmongold, you haven't really seen him in the beta that much or playing it. And it's crazy how much effect like just one person can have. And it's not his fault or anything like that. I'm just saying that, you have to realize that like just that one person, would probably add just a huge amount of more hype to the game.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because people are unhappy with the boost. It could be that people are like, not kind of boycotting or saying, hey, listen, I'm not going to promote this because I'm not happy about the boost or this, that, and the other. I don't know if that's the case, but I feel like it could be a multitude of things. And but at the end of the day, I'm having a great time. I am hyped as hell. There's definitely a lot of people that are crazy hyped. But like personally, I thought it was going to be a little bit more than I currently feel. Yeah. But like I said, don't want to focus on the negatives. I want to focus on the positive.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and if people don't want to play or stream something, then it's all good. Like it could be, like you said, for the boost, but maybe they're just not enjoying it so much. I mean, I can just share my own 2 cents on it. I'm enjoying the beta. I'm very hyped for TBC. I really believe that this upcoming chapter of like our WoW careers or whatever you want to call them is going to be the best. Like the stars have really aligned here. Lots of friends, good community. We've kind of been here for a minute. Really excited for it overall. But man, like I just kind of want to PvP, man. I kind of want to play arena. I want to get in 2s and 3s and stuff like. And when I'm in the beta, I want to PvP. I want to get out there and fight the other faction or do whatever. But there's not too much alliance on the PvP server. Maybe that's just
it'll happen soon. I think
they don't have any of the PvP testing in either. Like you can't do battlegrounds or only skirmishes. So I think maybe that's something that once that rolls out, because like that's a huge piece of TBC, that there'll be more people in the beta actually like doing that, right?
Yeah,
that's actually a good point.
I was going to say that I think this is not a very streamable beta so far. It's just leveling, and back when Vanilla had this beta, there were like a ton of questions that we still had about basically everything. We didn't know what no changes meant or if there were going to be changes. And now we know it quite a bit better. And all we can do now is just watch someone level through the TBC zones, which is not that exciting to watch.
Right.
But when I look in the guild and on the server, I think there's quite a lot of TBC hype. I don't think it's on Twitch just yet, but I think it's within the community. There's quite a lot of hype.
Yeah. How does chat feel about it? Do you guys feel hyped about TBC with the beta being out and streamed?
Hell yeah.
I think there's significant things we're missing though, right? So like, you guys remember back from the Classic beta, where's the Ooga gang? Where's the where are these clips people are making of like, top moments or something? I feel like there was a lot of hype around like,
all
the.
Something. Sorry, man.
Sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead. I'm just saying that to like bookmark it in my memory before I forget. Just finish your thought. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, remember how awesome that was when the Ooga gang would come up and gank a streamer? All those cool things that were pretty much happening in the Classic beta. I feel like that's missing right now.
Yeah, and you know what it is, bro? Just to chime in real quick before I forget. It might, maybe, just maybe, have something to do with the idea of starting from level 1 versus starting with like a copy over character. There is something magical about everybody starting at level 1. I don't know what it is. It's some little fairy dust that the shaman is sprinkling over the lands. Like something, the fact that you copy an existing character that has 9 million days played or boost to 58 and you're like in this cold, empty sort of shell of a, like, I think there's something there. Where if Classic, I felt like everybody was starting from the beginning together.
Kargoz, I think you're spot on with that. So I you guys remember I was saying, like, I was so proven wrong. Like, people were asking me, hey, how do you think the beta? I was like, oh, everyone's going to get a 58 template and start with the same gear and all like that. I really thought that was going to happen. I was so surprised when I found out that you could copy your character, because, you know, you have some people coming in the beta that are making their level 58s that are getting, you know, destroyed on PvP. So you have all these people going on the PvE realm, which is, you know, for testing purposes, great. But when it comes to like having all those cool hype moments and all, you know, you have someone coming in at full tier 3, and then someone coming in on like literally level 40 gear on a 58. You know what I mean? There's not a fair advantage there. Now, I think when we get to level 70, and if they open up like battlegrounds and they allow people to start, because right now the PvP gear is in the beta, and they cost like 20 tokens each to get like, you know, a piece of gladiator gear, right? So once that opens up, once you start seeing battlegrounds and then people start to get like PvP gear, and if arenas start to happen, then I think it's going to start getting really a lot of hype. You're going to see people like Van Rookie and friggin' Savix and like, you know, doing arena together and stuff like that. And I think a lot of hype will probably be coming around then.
100%
so right now it's a little early.
Yeah, so I have to say, guys, like I haven't been streaming much recently, but just in full honesty, it's because I've been doing a lot of arena, you know, I've just been doing a lot of arena. And I have to say, maybe. I am in love. I have fallen in love with TBC Arena. It's so much fun. The community has been great so far. I mean, there's always going to be some crazies, right? But like, I really, I'm loving the TBC Arena so much, man. It's all I think about. It's all I want to do. And just to tie it back to the original point, it makes me realize that TBC kind of is about endgame a lot more so than with Classic. Classic really is a lot more about the journey and leveling up from 1. The whole time when you're leveling an Outland at like 62, you're just like, yo, fuck me, man. I wish I was 70 right now. I wish I could just queue some 2s or some 3s, right? Maybe that's just me. I'll go in and out of a phase. Like, these quests are beautiful. They're great. I'm just being honest, right? So it's like, it makes me think that, oh, yeah, maybe the boost isn't as big of a deal as I mean, it still is a big deal. I prefer no boost, and the best solution would be fresh servers. But you know, a lot of times when you're in Outlands, you're just itching to do the end game content. And maybe that's just me though. Sorry.
I mean, so I've tested every single quest in Hellfire, every single quest in Zanger Marsh, every single quest in Terraker, and I'm almost on the grind. The only reason I'm not doing it anymore is because I'm capped right now. And I think the questing experience, maybe because it's new, but the questing experience for me in TBC is worlds better than it was in vanilla. That's just me.
Agree.
The quests are just they're built better. They're more interactive. They kind of, this is where they kind of got in the whole clump mentality, where you kind of go into Thralmar. There's a clump quest there. Sends you to Spinebreaker. There's a clump there. And you feel like you're progressing through Outland instead of just, you know, take this random thing to Tenorus, and you're like, why am I doing this? You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that isn't special. That's very special from Classic. But I feel like you feel like an explorer in a new world. And I think the questing is so good. I know a lot of people are going to sleep on the questing and just spend their whole time in dungeons, but I just don't. I wouldn't recommend it. It's just so good.
Here's the thing, though. I think you did the questing in the beta without addons as well, right?
Until they just introduced add-ons. Yeah.
So that's quite important, because once you have add-ons like Questy, and it shows you where to go, you're not exploring the world anymore. You're just following arrows, basically.
Yeah.
And at that point, in my opinion, the old system in vanilla is then a better system. Then you still have to think for yourself, where do I go now? Do I go to Westfall? Do I go to whatever place they send me? And in TBC, you can basically mindlessly follow the arrow. So I like how I didn't install any add-ons, even though I think they are available. DevCam told me at least now since a few days. I kind of like doing it without the add-ons right now, and I think that adds to the questing experience quite a lot.
Yeah,
I had to get a damage meter and weak auras. Those are the two that I need to have. For sure. So I have those. The weak auras are fun and everything. It's become such a crutch with add-ons. You actually see it a lot in the beta before they had it in. People, like, every friggin' message in chat was, hey, why aren't my add-ons working? Where are the add-ons? Why can't I have add-ons?
Yeah.
So like, now having that, I think, as well, is going to like drum up a bit more interest, because the community, like, they love their add-ons.
They do. It makes you realize how dependent you are on them, though, right? When you're like playing for a couple days with nothing, you're just sitting there. Yeah, sorry, Def, go ahead.
It was really cool because like every one of you guys said something differently that you love about TBC. Like I really feel like TBC in particular, there's something for everyone. Whether it's arena, whether it's endgame, whether it's a leveling process. Like I love like right now just being in Terracar Forest, listening to the music. It's friggin' beautiful, right? Like. Then you have the amazing arena, you have like the amazing raids, you have the heroics, and that's what I love so much about TBC is I do feel like a lot of people they might not think about this, but like there is, something for everyone. Like, I say that about Classic too, right? But it's like compounded it in TBC, you know what I mean? Like there are people that are literally going to level up to just do arena and that's it, and I think for right now, like we said, there's only certain things available. So we're seeing people that are, obviously I love going through Terracar Forest, going through the ground, doing these quests. The music is absolutely beautiful. The zones are beautiful. But I think arena is one of the biggest draws to TBC. Like you said, Kargoz. And then once we start to see some dungeons and raids as well. Like we've been doing dungeons. We did, Caverns of Time last night. But once people start to see Karazhan, and people start to see, a lot of the higher end content, I think that's when the hype is really going to explode, like I said. But I just love the fact that there is, such an amazing, amount of people that surround. Like, dude, when Arena comes out in TBC, like I think we're going to see a lot of the big time, arena guys coming over at least for a little bit, trying to get Glad, trying to get rank 1 and stuff like that, and that's going to be awesome and huge for the game.
Yeah, it will be, and I could sit here for the next 6 hours, chat, and talk to you about all of the stuff that's going through my head about arena and why like I have fallen madly in love with it, and like it's more than just like queuing 2s and 3s. Like it's itemization choices, and when I think about classic TBC, on some of the private servers, like you pretty much like you start by your honor will buy you season 1 gear, and then you use arena points to get season 2 gear. For classic TBC, you will seriously have to use PvE gear to PvP for a long while. It takes a long time to get your PvP stuff, right? So you're gonna have to look at PvE items through that PvP lens and use little 2-piece set bonus here, 2-piece set bonus here, this weird trinket over here, and make these cool choices that are so fun. And another thing is, how Classic, one of the things I love about Classic is all these crazy items that have all these weird uses, and people talk about balance in PvP and Classic, coming by way of all these items and gadgets and gizmos. Those stuff do exist in TBC, man, like the engineering belt, the jewel crafting trinket with the Panther, the hypervision goggles, what else is there? There's a weird little 2-piece set bonus here. There's a trinket with there's a ring with a ton of armor on it out of SSC. There's a lot of cool items in TBC, is my point, man. Really interesting items.
From Caverns of Times that like early on is going to be really good.
Yeah, there's certain pieces that have resilience that you can get while questing and stuff like that you won't be able to get. And that's a really good point, Kargoz, because I think a lot of people feel like, TBC comes around, you do your battlegrounds, you get your gear, and then you get your arena gear, and that's it. Like, no, there's a lot more thought process that goes involved in. And we were talking a little about this earlier, that obviously there are people that have been playing TBC servers for the past couple of years, and people like myself, I played them back before Classic came out. But due to Dana mention this, I still think there's a lot of unknown or mystery, and not everyone knows what you just said, Kargoz, right? So the fact that there is so much still unknown about TBC, I think is a really good thing, and it's going to make it so much more interesting.
We're in for a meta shakeup almost.
Yes.
Where, like the things that Kargoz talked about. It's like, how do you make a guide when everybody's gear is so different, right? Like that, where like you need a specific piece. Like maybe you have something that someone else doesn't have, and then you need hit in that slot, or you're lacking stamina or something because you want to get like a certain amount of stamina so you don't get like blown up in arena and like that. Like I feel like starting off that the meta is going to be a lot fresher than than people realize even, and it's I think it's going to be a lot of fun for people, and maybe even like a renaissance of theory crafting and things, because like for arena, like Kargoz says, like there's a lot you're putting into it to think about. What gear am I going to wear here? Like, TBC Classic is going to be so different from what has existed before, that like the more work you're going to be able to put into it outside the game, you're going to be able to reap those rewards inside of
Oh,
it.
it's so true. You got me salivating. A renaissance of theory crafting, man. Like, there's all this politics that go into it right now, too. Like, right now we're rank 9 and 2s and rank 3 and 3s, and like you're adding everybody who's queuing, and you're seeing when they queue, and one person logs off for a second to just bait them into queuing, then you queue into them, and you're like, you have this crazy like politics to it. There's you know, weird trinkets you can swap out. There's just so many different strategies. I'm so excited for it, man. I it's like my favorite part of the game. I think, you know, I remember what I was going to say. So you have to PvE to PvP, right? So like the incentives are aligned. Even if you're a sweaty PvPer, like you have to get into Karazhan, you have to get into these heroics and these raids in order to get what you need. Anyway.
And you know, what we saw in your in the little PvP get together we did the other day, Kargoz, you know, we see just how, like, you know, you saw, what was his name again? Riva.
Riva, yeah.
Right, yeah. Like the difference of someone who's been playing, and you know, compared to like someone like myself who hasn't really done arena in you know for 2-3 years, like seriously competitively. You know, you're gonna have these people who are gonna be coming, you know, out of the woodworks. Oh yeah, I had Glad back in the day, and you know, oh I'm, you know, this, that, and the other, and like, it's gonna be really crazy at first, because you're gonna have people who have been doing nothing but playing arena, like yourself right now, right, for the past year or so, and it's gonna be like it. It's gonna be a clusterfuck, dude. Like in the first season, it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, the competition is gonna, like, there is gonna be so many really good players. And I'm like, man, you know, like back in the day I did this, but that none of that freaking matters now, right? Like none of it. And you know, I want to get a little bit about like the spell batching stuff and how we can talk about that in a second, but how that's going to possibly change the meta as well. So there could be a little bit even more of a shakeup, right? Because if they keep this current spell batching of 0.10, which is totally different than what it is, port 1.0, yeah, which is totally different than it is on the private servers, it's going to make a lot of differences. Like we were talking about, you know, Shadow Word Death like a polymorph. The only way I could do it is if the mage had an absorb shield on, because the interrupt immediately hits him, and that little bit of pushback from the Shadow Word Death puts enough time to where that polymorph will have to, you know, it extends the time so that Shadow Word Death hits me before the polymorph does, right? So the only way I was able to do it is if he had an absorb and didn't get the pushback.
I see.
And little things like that, you know, Navik had brought up another points with like rogue versus rogue, gouging, and you know each other, stuff like that. It is definitely going to be a little bit different for private servers even. So I wonder if that will change things up as well for a lot of people.
Yep. Some really good points there. Yeah, I mean, Navik was really upset about this. A lot of people who played TBC back in the day at a high level, some of you might be in the chat right now, some of your, you know, the big plays you would make in arena are, you know, vanish immuning a blind, or vanish immuning a cheap shot, or, you know, a Shadow Word Deathing a polymorph. All these interactions, you know, with the small batching window are no longer part of the game. And to a lot of people's mind, that isn't TBC PvP for them. You know, that isn't the game that they fell in love with. For me, as someone who didn't experience it, that's super high level back in the day, doesn't bother me so much. But I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
But it's even going to be different than what you're experiencing now in private servers, right? Because the batching window is not as quick as it is right now on live, right? So like on the beta, I'm sorry. Because like I will say this though, like as a healer, it feels so friggin' good to see your heals going like almost instantly to the tank and stuff like that. Like, so that part of it I love. So I'm kind of like, you know, tossed here and there between PvE and PvP, but yeah, just wanted to make that point.
Yeah.
Well, even in PvP, I'd rather have this spell batching than the one we had in Classic. But if they want to fix it, they should probably not put everything on the same batch and just fix it for certain abilities, like they are doing it for Paladin Seal Twisting. Which again I'm not really a fan of, but that's a different thing. But they can fix Shadow Word Death, right? They can make it like you can.
It's already on a different like batch window, but but it's the pushback happening like instantly. I think what is the issue. So it's really weird, and obviously it's still in the beta and they're still doing tests. And it's like, you know, nothing is confirmed yet, but whatever. But I think this is the time for people to, you know, do the testing, and I think there's gonna once we get into the arena and start to see what it's like, because it's so fast paced now, right? Like we did even that little bit that we did, having those skirmishes. Everything is so much more fast paced than you're used to. Instantly trying to shadow step and kick. Well, right now with shadow step being broken, you end up like facing the wrong way. But shadow step kick, like you gotta be playing at your game's gotta be up there, because with that smaller batch window, it's everything happens so much faster. So
for sure.
I guess there's an option with putting specific spells on specific batch windows, but we need to be careful. It's not going to feel too artificial.
Right. Like it did in Classic.
Yeah. So
we'll see once they do the PvP. Once they open up PvP on the beta, because I imagine they're going to do a passover of that as well. Right. So because that isn't in right now, I feel like they're probably haven't like tuned any knobs and stuff on that. So
true, very true.
I think we'll see at some point if they're going to make changes or adjustments to anything like that.
Yeah. So you mentioned too, El, that there might be a shift in the meta, and some things that immediately come to mind is people go into Classic now with a different brain. They look at a dungeon and they go, how can I kind of finesse this dungeon's pathing of the mobs? How can I basically not kill this mob? How can I 400 pull this dungeon, right? Like they're on a different wavelength now. They're taking that wavelength into TBC, and immediately within a few days found all that slave pen shenanigans, and people are doing 400,000 XP per hour. Are we going to finesse TBC in that way, and reach a stage where the mage boosting is still a thing? Just basically continues on into TBC, and you sit in a slave pens, and people just boost you up to 70. It doesn't bother me like it maybe should though, because like I said before, like it kind of making me realize that the TBC endgame content is really sort of so much more robust than the Classic content in some respects.
Well,
but
rushing the end game is a retail mentality. Am I wrong?
Yeah, sort of. Yes.
So that's my issue with it. I feel like the community is just turning into a retail community, because the game's more than that, right? And I think the leveling process should be something that should be embraced. It's fun. It's enjoyable. I don't know. I never understood the mindset of bypassing the leveling process. So I don't understand it. I really don't. At a basal level, I don't get it. But I know. But it's going to be that, Kargoz. Like
they could fix things though, or change things. If Blizzard just said, you know what, we're not really like that. We don't really like that meta. We're living in that some changes world. Mobs are now going to teleport to you, literally. If they haven't connected in a really long time, they're going to teleport on top of you. And some servers have actually done that, for whatever. But that would be an option. Or some people enjoy that mage boosting and all that anyway.
So let me ask you guys about the mage boosting right now, because from what I understand, and at first, the change wasn't in the effect, right, to where the mage's AoE wasn't capped out. You know what I'm saying with the change, right? But even now with the change, mage boosting is still extremely powerful, correct? So there, people like Joker or whatever were like soloing dungeons still, correct? I've heard a lot of people who say that that's fine, whatever, but I've also heard a lot of people who say they wanted to nerf it even more. I mean, how could you possibly nerf it more? Like you said, like having people teleport to you or something like that. Like, I don't know, would you guys feel like because personally, the way it is now, like, because if you do something that affects endgame as well, that would be bad, right? So if you're doing something, kiting, or if you change the way that mages do AoE, and then it could have an effect in endgame that an actual rating that we might not see. So like I feel like as long as the way it was in TBC, people are gonna boost either way, right?
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
We're gonna be going in the dungeons either way. It's gonna happen. I feel like don't mess around with it anymore.
Don't make it on. Yeah.
The thing is,
find the lowest path of resistance.
Exactly.
Yeah. The thing with the question you asked, if it's just a mage soloing a dungeon, that in itself is not a problem. The problem is other people joining the mage and gaining experience doing nothing, and thereby not playing the game, and also thereby making it harder for other people to actually play the game because they cannot find dungeons. That is the problem, right?
That's true.
So if a mage can do it on its own, that's just something a mage can do, and it doesn't really harm anyone else with it. So they should probably not nerf that in itself, but just nerf the experience gain if you stand there and do nothing. That would fix quite a lot of
Yeah, because in theory you could buy a 58 boost and just walk right into slave pens. You'd likely be able to zone into slave pens. You wouldn't be able to hit anything at 58 really, but then you could just kind of sit there, and then the mage would just kill everything. One thing that compared to some like P servers and stuff, a lot of mobs are immune to slow and CC in a lot of P servers and stuff. So they could take a page out of that book and make some of these mobs immune to slow. They wouldn't necessarily have to do the teleport shenanigans or buff them massively. You would just make them unslowable, and at that point that could fix a lot of this stuff.
Basically make everyone participate. You need to do a certain amount of damage or healing or something like that. It doesn't need to be a high benchmark, just something, so you need to actively participate.
I would like to see it in maybe a different direction where it's balanced in such a way that it's more equal between questing and dungeons and something, and not in a matter of boosting. Like I think boosting should go away, but I think it's better for pretty much everybody if it's similar. So that way, people who want to level in dungeons can do that, but people who level in the world as well, it brings more people in the world, because a more active world I think is better for everybody. Like there's new PvP objectives. There's a lot of kind of social dynamics that are created while questing and leveling. Like I had a really amazing experience in the beta the other day that it's like one of those like classic moments that like I'll never forget. And I basically met this guy. It was a rep paladin. I'm playing my Fury Warrior, and we 2-manned all the 5-man quests in Nagrand, basically me and him, by like doing creative like kiting methods and like using literally everything, blowing lay on hands, bot bandage, just like dying a bunch, but like eventually like getting it down. And like he made like some super clutch plays that like it almost like brought tears to my eyes, because like he like lay on hands me when like he should have lay on hands himself, but like he sacrificed himself for me so that I could like finish the thing off, because it was like 20%. He's like, no, you need to execute. Like it was just like I was like, damn. And like I made like a friend in the beta now that like
that's
now I talk to that guy every time he logs on, right? And it's just like
awesome, dude.
If
that's
you're
what me
just
and Oprah were doing, dude. It was so much fun. We did ramps as 2 enhancement shamans, and like I love stuff like that.
For the people who want to stand AFK in dungeons, you can, but like people like you miss out on stuff that like it brings more to the game than just AFK waiting for end game.
I think it's a difference of perspective, Al. As much as we don't understand them, I think they don't understand us, and I think that's okay. I just to me, it's like it's just it's so outside of the realm of why I play this game that I just don't get it.
TBC introduces a whole new ball game, though, Melder. That's the one thing. I understand your point much more so in Classic. Arena and TBC is like some people just love Arena. They love diminishing returns and trading cooldowns and theory crafting talents and hopping into the Arena. That it's like all they want to do is jump in the Arena on different classes and play with different groups of friends, and like the leveling is just this massive barrier. I agree with you though. Like I don't think they should. I don't think the leveling process should be completely like null and void, because like there almost needs to be that barrier of entry to make things feel special. Like you can't just spin up any character at any time and insta queue Arena. But
well, the thing is, this is in its core, it's still an MMO, and Arena is part of the MMO, but it's not the game in itself. And some people play only because of Arena, fine, but it's still part of the MMO, and you cannot change the MMO to accommodate only those people that play Arena. If you want to do that, you make Arena servers and don't let people level, and then they can play on that.
It might be a good idea though, actually, Arena servers and stuff with tournaments and high liquidity.
But it might be in future expansions, but I don't think it's a good idea in TBC.
For tournaments, right? Like they do have like the prize.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. Well, it could work, but you need some PvE gear, and then you would have to give that. It would be a very different thing, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
You guys want to start going into the classes?
Yeah, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah,
so, welcome back, guys. we haven't talked about this in a minute. Basically, we're all students of the game. We're all learning, and with each day and month and week we play this game, we learn something new. We really do, and our mentality on the classes shift around. And the classes, the talents, the specs, this stuff is like sacred to the WoW player who plays, vanilla and TBC and stuff. So I'm genuinely curious to see what's shifted in your guys' minds, and we can all talk about it. So we're going to go through all 9 classes, hopefully, and just give you like our updated thoughts on that class moving into TBC. So on and so forth. So
hell yeah.
Which one do you want to start with, chat? We can so I don't know if there's going to be like an overwhelming winner. I'm going to log into the beta as well, and we can kind of just boost to 58 real quick and take a look at it.
Wondering where's all our shaman people at? The shaman has we'll see what people want to start with.
Yeah, let's see here.
People have been so excited for each class just feels so distinct now. And like, before we get into it, I just want to say what Kevin Jordan said back in the day is that they really hit their stride in TBC when it comes to class design. Man, I couldn't agree with that more. Each class feels so distinct. There's like no homogenization in TBC. Everything's so distinct, and it's just, they nailed it, dude. They really did.
They did, absolutely. There's a lot of votes for Shaman. I think it's been because in Def and Melderon play a ton of Shaman. Ale actually plays a ton of Shaman too. Let's start there. So let's go boost up a...
Sure.
Let's see. Orc Shaman. I love my orcs.
Hell yeah.
All right, so there is a... I don't know. It's overwhelming to even think. Where do we start, man? What spec are you gonna play, Shaman, in TBC? You're gonna main Shaman, right, Melderon? Maybe we can start.
So I'm gonna main Shaman. I'm gonna do Elemental endgame, but I think I'm gonna level Enhancement.
You're gonna.
I think that's the plan. Because the gear I have right now for Elemental, I still haven't found replacements for at level 68.
Yeah.
So I don't see a really point in leveling Elemental until I get to that point. Until I get to like 67, 68, then I'll probably respec.
Also, there's basically no downtime with Enhancement.
Yeah.
And we found out that you can get 2 axes, the Hakari Manslayers from ZG, where 2 of them, they scale 1-to-1 with spell power. You literally can wear 2 of those and never have to worry about healing. Like, the leash is so good that you can just rock double Hakari Manslayer, put Windfury in both, which is 36% chance to proc, by the way. And like, I'm telling you guys, it's going to be insane. No downtime with Shamanistic Rage. Your mana goes right back up. It feels so good. I actually decided that Shaman is going to be my main PvE alt enhanced with Shaman for TBC. I'm so ready for it, dude.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
I'm
just trying to find a way to get to just the spiciest little morsels of information that people know about this class that have come to mind. Like, let's maybe talk about... I'm sorry, Meldor. I think you were about to say something, man.
No, I'm just trying to give a brief overview of each spec so people can kind of understand. I think Enhancement Shaman could be a contender for the most what's the word I used last night, Def? Engaging PvE rotation.
Yep. Even though it has 2 buttons, but yeah.
Well, it doesn't have 2 buttons, right? So you have your totems,
right.
You have which you have to maintain your uptime. You have Storm Strike and your shocks, which Storm Strike has a 10-second cooldown, and then your shocks have a 6-second cooldown. So you might say, well, there's a lot of dead time there. Well, that dead time allows you to totem twist, right? And you should totem twist, because not only are you providing Wind Fury if you're in a melee group, which you should be, but you're providing Grace of Air for yourself and for the melee. So it's actually a DPS increase if you totem twist properly. So last night we were running Durnhold, and it was myself, Ale, Def Camp, another warrior, and a paladin. And knowing that you're providing those 2 other warriors and the paladin Wind Fury, and then providing Grace of Air at the same time, it just everyone just blows stuff up faster, right?
And so doing insane DPS at the same time.
Yeah, that removes that downtime, right? So it's a very engaging rotation if you do it properly. And the damage is great. Storm Strike feels amazing. We just found out in the Shaman Discord, because in private servers, there's this thing called the 36% Wind Fury proc feature, which we thought was a bug. It was never fixed until Wrath. if you're dual wielding, and if you're using Wind Fury on both weapons, the independent chance to proc Wind Fury is not 20% per weapon; it's 36% per weapon. So,
awesome. Yeah.
And that is coded in this client.
You just get a random buff to Wind Fury when you dual wield?
Yep.
Yeah, if you're using both imbues on both weapons. If you're using Wind Fury on one and Flame Tongue on the other, the independent chance to proc on that one with Wind Fury is still 20%. I have the math to back all this up, so I will be putting that in the next Shaman guide. But
there also is the internal cooldown in TBC, so there is that to take into. But even that's why you really want to have two very slow weapons.
Slow as possible. Yeah.
Slow as possible. Yeah, and in your, you know, a lot of people say, "Oh, offhand should be quicker." No, not with double Wind Fury.
If you can't find a slow offhand, you can use a fast offhand, but you should use Flame Tongue instead of Wind Fury in that situation because you're going to lose DPS. So what happens is the offhand is going to steal your Wind Fury procs because if there's an ICD, there's 3-second ICD. There's a higher chance of the offhand proccing Wind Fury before the main hand does, and you don't want that to happen. You want your ICD resets to be on slow weapons in primarily your main hand because there's a penalty to offhand damage. Just like in Warriors, right? So,
I just want to talk about. I'm sorry. Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to say also, like, as someone who, you know, Shaman's one of my favorite classes. Obviously, Priest is my favorite, but as someone who, you know, hasn't really been melee that often, I can honestly say that playing Enhancement Shaman, just the way it feels, is some of the most fun I've ever had. It is, you know, potentially one-shotting characters. Like, no downtime. It feels so smooth. It feels so good. And I actually, you know, a lot of people ask, you know, how Enhancement does in PvP. I actually really like Enhancement in PvP. It's not, you know, S tier in any way, shape, or form, but I've seen Enhancement Shamans do very well in 2v2. Maybe 3v3 as well, but in 2v2 especially. You can shut down casters really well, you know, with your shocks, obviously. And do a good amount of damage. So you're going against a Clothy, you go ahead and pop a two-hander on and potentially one-shot them. You still have Bloodlust. You have your totems. You have instant Ghost Wolf form, which can I just say that instant Ghost Wolf form, Melderon, it feels so good, doesn't it?
Especially when you're PvPing.
Like it. Yeah.
You can chase down people so quickly, especially if it's a caster trying to get away from you. You can just chase them down. It's actually really nice.
We did some PvP stuff on the beta, right? And like just going in and attacking them, like being able to drop an Earthbind and go in instantly into Ghost Wolf form is it feels so good and it's so useful in PvP. So a lot of people say, yeah, you know, Enhanced Shaman isn't the best in arena, but I think that we will probably see some Enhanced Shamans doing exceptionally well in the arena. I think that it has its place. But, you know, at the same time, obviously there are classes that are better. But in terms of fun and in terms of, like, just having a good time, Enhancement to me is one of my favorite classes. One of my favorite specs.
Well, just to chime in on this, too, I'm really delighted to be able to provide some first-hand experience now, too, instead of just, like, kind of living vicariously through the knowledge of others. Having gone through it recently, like, there's a shaman in our guild, Brady, and there's been a few others that have impressed me, too, but Enhance, I honestly, as a warlock, usually don't think much of them. I see them, I hit them with a spell lock, I fear them, you know, totem stomp them. I really didn't think much of them, but I promise you, the Enhanced Shaman, like in a battleground, in a dungeon, in a raid, looks like they're so much fun to play, and they really actually perform a lot better than you'd think. Like in a dungeon, and just kind of the early gear, you could probably expect a good Enhancement Shaman to do 500 to 900 DPS on a boss. Maybe a bit lower, you know. I think that's reasonable, right? And then the thing is, in BGs, you can top damage. I don't understand how it works, really. I'm sitting here as a UA lock, just tab dotting everything, and I'll still have these games occasionally where an Enhanced Shaman has top damage in the battleground. They have top killing blows in the battleground, and I'm just thinking to myself, this is a melee Andy. How is he possibly getting this much damage out? Maybe you guys know. I still don't even fully understand.
Because of the Wind Fury procs, dude. It's like, you know. So remember, Storm Strike attacks with both weapons. So when you engage a combatant, when you go into melee range, you're attacking with both your weapons automatically because that's just auto attacks. Each of those attacks has a chance to proc Wind Fury if you're using double Wind Fury. And then you attack again with both your weapons with Storm Strike. So there's 4 independent attacks that occur, and only one of those needs to proc Wind Fury, right? And boom, that person's pretty much dead. You know,
also mobility.
Yeah,
mobility's huge.
A 36% chance, you said? Like, it's almost guaranteed, right?
Right, it's almost guaranteed that in that opener you're getting a Wind Fury proc. Yeah, of those 4 different attacks.
And that's 2 more attacks, right? So that's like pretty much 6 attacks anytime you open Storm Strike on somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
This is very much how it feels when person and Enhancement Shaman in a duel or whatever, guys. You're alive and you're perfectly fine and you're literally chilling and you think that you got this, easy clap. And then you're actually turned into a green apple scented vape cloud. Like, you're literally pink misted from these Enhancement Shamans.
We've been doing duels, Melderon and I. And first of all, as a Shadow Priest, right? Like, it's so scary. I did beat him last night and, I got lucky because my Shadow Fiend dazed him. But the fact that he can just purge off all my buffs, all my absorbs, and then shock me when I try to heal or anything like that, drop everything I do to him, and like, oh, what are you gonna do? Silence him? I silence him. He still is attacking me with his melee and just destroying me. Most duels, Melderon will shock me. I go to wand his tremor. As I'm wanding his tremor, I'm dead. Like, I wand his tremor totem or attack, try to get his grounding done. I look up and I'm kneeling down because he beat me in a duel. Like, that's how quick he's killing me.
Yep. Enhancement is
they're fun, man. They're really fun. Like, I suggest everyone, especially Alliance players, if you've never tried Shaman because you haven't played it in Classic, right? Just mess around with it with the Enhancement Shaman when you have time. I think you'll enjoy it. And Elemental's fun too, and I'll get into that in a second. But like, they're all good. All the specs are good, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's a lot of fun.
Yep.
Yeah. So, would you say Enhancement is an expensive spec to play?
Expensive in what way?
In gearing up, like getting the best gear possible. Is that
you're gonna need blacksmithing as an enhancement? I think every class has to be a certain crafting profession, right? In elemental, you have to, if you want to be BIS, you got to be tailoring and leatherworking. Shaman, enhancement shaman, you have to be blacksmithing. So it's like I think just as much as every other class doing Zane, I would say. I think every class has to have one crafting profession, right, to be BIS. At least one.
Yeah, I think the blacksmithing hammers are unique equipped though, which on some of the P servers they're not. So I don't know how that affects them, what their weapon progression looks like. Just a random little thought.
Interesting.
Yeah, the thing is you need 2 weapons, right? So it's gonna naturally be more expensive then, or how would you see that?
I'm just trying to think compared to like Elemental that has to craft like all their gear. So I don't really know. I can't really compare it from a price perspective, because then you have to think like, what do they have access to? What does their guild have access to? Like, you're not going to pay full price for all this stuff, right? I hope not. So, but yeah, I mean, the 2 weapons are definitely expensive compared to like the gear, I would say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Grace for Days with the massive raid. Thank you very much. Oxy with the tier 1 as well. Welcome, guys. Thank you so much.
What's up, guys?
I mean, shamans are like Pringles or whatever the expression is. You can never have enough in PvE. It seems like it's never like, as a raid leader or whatever, another shaman is never like a bad thing, And Enhance has really been surprisingly good to my mind, and then Resto is phenomenal as well. Just to contribute on the arena side of things too, you might think it's all doom and gloom. Where am I going to find my place as a shaman in the arena? And you're not wrong. It's probably the weakest dimension of them relative to the other stuff because they're so good in PvE in some respects. But shadow play, I've been playing some shadow play where we were ranked 2, we're ranked 3 now on the ladder, and you run a shaman in that comp. That's one of the strongest comps in the game, dude. Shadow play. So that you can...
Ret Resto as well. Ret Resto for 2v2 if you want to play Resto Shaman. A lot of fun. You open up with the Wind Fury. I mean, you get the Wind Fury Totem, Bloodlust, and it's it's a lot of fun if you can get a good Ret Paladin to play with you as Resto. You still get the instant Ghost Wolf form, so you can get out, move quickly if you need to, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I think Ret Resto is slept on a little bit. It's a really, really, really fun 2v2.
Yeah,
It's something I definitely want to try myself, being a red paladin. I wanted to say a general thing on shamans, you probably get there, but as a guild leader, if you're trying to make an ideal raid setup and still have some flexibility, I think it's very, very much worth it to have multiple of each spec, because I often hear like bring one enhancement or bring one elemental and then the rest those. But I think there's a lot of value in just bring 2 of each to your raid, or to your roster rather, and then bring 5 out of 6 to the raid, and you can swap them out for melee, for healers, for ranged. It just makes a very flexible setup, really.
Yeah, we're probably going to do 2 full-time resto. One of those full-time restos is going to have an enhancement off-spec. 1 full-time enhancement, 2 full-time elemental. It's probably how we're going to do ours. So it's...
Speaking of elemental, though, out of the specs of shaman, that one, and this could very much be anecdotal. It could be really strong. Chad, help us out here too if you feel another way. But if I had gun to my head, choose the spec that's performing the least well in TBC, it's elemental. Like, I'm never blown away by their damage. I'm happy for their totem, and I always have one in my group as a warlock, so I can use the lower hit threshold. But even as a warlock, I don't need that lower hit threshold. Like, I feel like I could just get it with a few either gems or maybe shifting 1 piece of gear around. How do you guys feel about Ellie? Is it really in a good place in TBC?
I don't know. We haven't run a dungeon together, but like, so I've been testing enhancements since I was able to add add-ons.
Mm-hmm.
So now I want to shift and do some tests with elemental now that I actually have recount working, which I know details is way better, but I can't seem to get that. I can't seem to find a version that works on the beta. But like, I don't know, ask Al. I mean, like, we ran a lot of dungeons, and I feel like if you know how to fire totem twist properly, it's explosive, just like enhanced. The thing with shaman is that it's all RNG with DPS, right? So you have Wind Fury on the enhancement side, and on the elemental side, we have our own type of Wind Fury now. It's called Lightning Overload. So it's a 20% chance to cast it in another spell. So if it could happen on Chain Lightning or Lightning Bolt. It's a half damage, 0 threat, 0 cost spell that just 20% of the time just happens. So what'll happen is the tank will engage a pack of mobs. What I usually do is wait until he has initial aggro on all of them, so maybe a Thunderclap or like Demoralizing Shout, something like that. Drop a Fire Nova, run out, and then do Chain Lightning Shock. And if that Chain Lightning overloads, you just have 6 damage, like 6 numbers just pop up, right? So you just hit like twice. Then the Fire Nova explodes at the same time. You run in and drop Magma, run back out, and just start pumping. And it's crazy how much damage you can. As long as you know how to Fire Totem Twist, I think Elemental Shaman are going to be one of the best, like, trash and 5-man damagers.
Yep. And then tier 4. Go ahead, Al. Sorry.
Yeah, I had trouble holding aggro off Melderon. It was really rough having him in there. He was pumping damage, and he doesn't even have like top elemental gear from Classic, and it's still really difficult. That actually reminds me of something we have to test to make sure that the Lightning Overload doesn't actually do threat, because it was way harder than I feel like it should have been.
Yeah, because now you can use Earth Shock as a shaman and not worry about pulling, because Earth Shock, the double threat modifier, has been removed from Earth Shock. So actually, Frost Shock has it now, which
weird. Frost Shock has double threat.
Yeah. El and I, and then Def Camp and I, we did some group quests where I was just kiting with Frost Shock because it's just so much threat.
It's now, really broken. It's so good.
Pumping these dudes.
Yeah.
While I was just around the world. It's pretty fun.
I'm glad we're having this conversation because I'm taking a few steps back. I'm thinking about some of my experiences playing. There was this Ellie Shaman, this Orc Ellie Shaman. He showed up with amazing gear. I think the AQ set's the best for Elemental or something. It looked like he was in full Abyss gear.
Yeah, I have AQ gear.
Yeah, and he was pumping. We didn't have damage meters at the time, so it's hard to say. And I know on Peace servers, like, there's this one trinket out of Karazhan that's perfect for Ellie Shamans. You know the one I'm talking about, where it actually literally gives you lightning bolts.
Lightning capacity.
Yes.
Yeah, Lightning Cat.
That trinket makes me want to play Ellie Shaman because it's literally the perfect trinket for Ellie Shaman.
That's what I was gonna say. So in tier 4, Ellie actually performs pretty well. There's a video out there of Egregious, and I think like everyone was around tier 4, killing Prince and just destroying the DPS meters, over the hunters, over everyone. I mean, it's Eeg, one of the best shamans in the world, but still, like, in tier 4, they do pretty well. As everyone else starts to get better, they kind of level off. But they can surprise every once in a while. They really can.
Mm-hmm. So you think Ellie's in a good spot?
They're not going to scale like warlocks and mages and hunters, right? But like they're going to do well. And honestly, shaman are not supposed to out DPS anyone, right? I mean, like, okay, let me backtrack and say this a little bit better. So I'm not saying that they shouldn't or they can't. I'm saying that if everyone plays at peak performance, shamans are utility class, right?
Mhm.
That is what you come to the game to do. So, you know, if you're the top DPS in your raid and your enhancement shaman, I think you got some problems.
Yeah, they're kind of people are trolling. Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm. I don't play the class because I'm on the top DPS charts. You know what I mean?
That's true. It's an interesting thing too. That you know how in TBC you were commenting on this, right, Def Camp, that you really like how like the healing gear has damage on it. You don't have to get a whole nother damage set.
Yes.
So we'd have to see how strong like the tuning is of heroics. Like maybe if they're not that strong, you go like you maybe you have a healer in your heroic group, but he's Ellie. You know, and at that point, it's probably so good. You know, you're giving everybody.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, obviously, as time goes on, and heroics become easier because people get gear, that'll definitely be possible. I think.
Yeah.
You know. But and then speaking of Resto, you know, Resto was already in an amazing spot in Classic. We all know, like, you know, chain heal is just it's ridiculously good, right?
Yeah.
And you know, in TBC, not much changes, but what does change is awesome, right? So you get Earth Shield, Water Shield, and you know, Meldoron can talk more about this, but you know, having Resto shamans in your raid, obviously priests now with Circle of Healing are probably one of the best AoE healers. Raid healers, but you can't forget about the shaman with chain. Chain heal is, if it's not broken, don't fix it, right? The workhorse of the horde in Classic, it just kept everyone alive, right?
Yeah.
So it's you know, one of the best healers in the game, baby. Come on, you gotta love the whole. You gotta love.
So
the
what's
best
wrong
of
with shamans? There's always weaknesses to classes, and the more you play, you kind of see the cracks in the armor. There must be weaknesses that might even.
Outside of Resto, so if we're talking PvE, right? Outside of Resto, you're not going to be the top performer, right? But that's something you know ahead of time. You picked a class that their job is to buff other people. That's like their main priority. Everything else is secondary as a shaman, in my opinion. If you're not putting your totems down, if you're not totem twisting, or if you're not, then you're not doing your job, right? Like, your job is to make sure everyone else is at peak performance. That's your job. And after that's done, then you can like maximize your DPS, right? Resto, and I think Resto is a top contender for the top healer in TBC along with Priest. So I think you're going to see it, you know, later on when we start getting Warcraft logs and we're going to like do like whole class perspectives of like healing done. I wouldn't be surprised if Resto Shaman's #1.
Yeah.
So that's like the thing. That's the one thing they really excel at is healing, right?
Yeah, they do.
Isn't it? Sorry to interrupt you, Meldoron, but saying someone or one class is the best healer class in PvE, it seems strange to me because they all have their place and they all excel in one thing.
I think he means overall healing.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and they're all numbers because they AOE heal, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but so do priests. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But without
It
the
also
paladin,
depends
you're
on the
still.
tier, and druids. Don't forget druids. Like druids.
I know.
Yeah. Druids
Everything
are,
is very, very handy to have in the raid.
Exactly. That's the great thing about TBC is like every class and spec, not every spec, but almost every everything has its place. And that's what I love about it.
Healer. Like no one's going to take that from them.
Yep.
Frostshock is kind of slapping, dude. Frostshock's pretty cool.
It's pretty nice, right?
But Meldoron, isn't it like an elemental shaman early TBC can top the meters, the damage meters even?
Yeah, that's what Def was saying. Like that video that Egregious has on YouTube. If you type in like Elemental Shaman Prince Malchazar or whatever, like it'll be Egregious's video, and he is topping damage charts. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it's sort of like a healer, and it has a lot of the same benefits the other healers have, but then you just factor in Bloodlust is oftentimes sort of the thought process with Shaman. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm seeing weird new use cases for classes and specs that you wouldn't think. You have to literally play the game to understand them. Like, One thing is rogues. I mean, we'll get to it when the time comes, right? But rogues are. I might die to this fucking pig, dude. Oh no. Okay, we got him. Rogues are a lot more useful than I thought. Even holy paladins. I thought holy paladins were like going to be the roughest healer to bring to the raid. To justify, there are some fights where you're like, yo, I wish we had a holy paladin. You know, I remember specifically like that one Nightbane or whatever in Karaman. We were like, man, where's our holy pal? We really need one, man, for either
Just
concentration aura or
And buffs and utility too. Yeah, concentration aura. I mean, come on, like it's everyone gets salve on the horde now too. It's
Oh yeah.
You need all of the healers. Like I want to go backtrack. Yeah, like it doesn't mean like I would bring all resto shamans to the raid. Like that's not what I'm saying. Like it's just raw HPS is what I'm talking about. That's all.
Priest and shaman are very
for sure.
All right, I think we did shaman. I think we gave it.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Shaman a good. I mean, there's obviously more stuff we could talk about, but you know,
it's cool. It's cool that there's a lot to talk about, though, right? We could do a whole episode on shaman. We could do 10 episodes on shaman. There's all these abilities and cool nuances to them, and
Tobez.
Could you the TLDR? Could you recommend people to go into TBC with a full heart, playing any of these specs, and really feel like they're not going to regret their decision? You know,
100%.
I think they're the most in-demand class in TBC, especially Alliance. If you want to do 25-man raiding, you roll a Draenei Shaman, and you'll have a spot guaranteed.
That's so true, dude.
On top of that, the Draenei gives the hit buff, right? So it's like
and Gifted Naru.
Yeah, I guess it's like the perfect support on top of the perfect support class.
I forgot. As a resto shaman, you kind of have on the line side, you have like a little hot right with Gifted Naru. It's because you can put it on other people. It's great.
Yeah. It just sucks. It has a cooldown.
Yeah.
But it scales 1-to-1 with healing. Did people test that on the beta already? That was one of the things that were.
I haven't tested it, but I did use it, and it seems like it. Well, I didn't have any bonus healing because it was a boost character, so. But it's strong. It's really good. Yeah.
Since it's a shaman. Since that race can be shaman, I test every ability, so I will be testing that. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, we should test it because in theory, if it gets 1-to-1 spell power, scaling, it's the best deal in the game. It's literally free and it's on a cooldown.
And it does. It does get 1-to-1.
All right. Well, I mean, there's 47 million other things we can talk about shaman, but we'll move on to the next class in the interest of time. I mean, which one do you guys want to see next, chat? Let's see if there's a overwhelming answer. Spam them, man. Spam the class you want to see next. We'll just give you your thoughts on them.
Just a heads up, so you guys know, I got my second shot of my shot for the coronavirus. It's the what is it called? The
Moderna.
When you what?
The COVID vaccine. Yeah.
The vaccine. That's it. Yeah. So if I feel, I'm like if I get a little tired or so, it's that. It's just that I'm like starting to feel a little woozy.
Hell yeah. Yo, Gray's in the chat. He hosted us. We got to go Paladin, right? We got to go Blood Elf Male, right? Blood Elf Male.
Let's do it.
Blood Elf Male Paladin. You're going to see a lot of these, folks.
Is he trolling? A lot of these. He's actually playing male.
No, he's not trolling. He's playing.
I know a lot of people, like, when they play Blood Elf, they only play female. That's all.
On the beta, I made a male Blood Elf Paladin.
Hell yeah, dude. Yes.
What do you think, chat? Should we make our little dummy character male or female? Let's see it.
Make sure you don't make a dwarf so I don't have to inspect him and then die on my character.
Oh man. This set that they spawn the Blood Elves in are pretty classic, huh? I still remember
dude,
the set
from back
in
in
the
love
day too.
Eversong Woods, and though that starting zone, if I were to level any new character in a TBC or whatever, I would always go to Eversong and Silver Moon and do those quests there because I love them.
My buddy Jose, my roommate back in TBC, he was we played raided together. His character was named Luminix, and he looked just like this, bro. Blood Elf Red Valley. I'm gonna make it just like. Oh my god, what is that outfit? Look how much better the shaman looks in the communal set versus this. Yikes.
I mean, yeah. I mean, no. It'll update when you make it. There it is. See, yeah. Oh, that's what you're on a lag.
It's a level 1.
Yeah.
I kind of want to make a level 1. I don't want to walk around in this gear. Let me make a new one. Okay, well, let's open it up, boys. So people have heard a lot about Protection Pally. They're very strong. We know about that. A part of me wants to talk a little bit of 2 cents on Holy Pally. I feel like Holy Pally is like, I don't want to say a sleeper, but more useful than you think that they would be. Like, try playing a Warlock with no Paladin buff, first of all, and a Kara, right? Just imagine you're in a 10-man Kara, and you have 2 tanks. One isn't the paladin, right? And you have like a druid and a warrior tank, or maybe you're just one tanking it. Imagine playing warlock with no salvation. Like, you will be hurting. You will be hating life. These paladin blessings are so good, or so like essential almost. You know, like there's.
Yeah.
Dunedain's the master, bro. Dunedain. Sorry.
Yeah. So I think ideally you bring one of each pick, right? So if you look into the talents, if you bring one of each pick, you can have Blessing of Wisdom or Blessing of Might of the Holy Paladin improved. Then you have Blessing of Kings or Blessing of Sanctuary on the Prot Paladin, and then you have Salvation left for the Red Paladin, and then you miss out on Blessing of Light, I guess. But there's only one. There's only one Holy Paladin anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. If you cut one of those, you miss one of the important blessings, either Might, Wisdom, or Kings, or Salvation, which is always something you don't want, I guess. In that sense, 3 Paladins, I think, is the sweet spot. More can work, less is probably not good. And I think Holy Paladin is very important for the main tank healing, obviously, because I feel like it's very niche, a very special case of healer. All 4 of them are, but Paladin still only has like hard cast heals and no healing over time. Still fast heals and quite mana efficient heals. So it's basically just spamming the main tank, keeping him alive, and having endless mana. And your talents are still focused around that. So if you go deep into Holy, you still have the or you have the new talent that makes you cast
Divine Illumination, which is you already have Illumination, so now you get it's
now Illumination is a little bit nerfed, right? So
right, but
it doesn't return 100% anymore. Yeah, and then you have the talent with which improves your Holy Light spell, because in vanilla you basically just spammed Flash of Light. On some fights you use Holy Light, but on the longer fights you use Flash of Light. And I think in TBC you can start using Holy Light on longer fights as well during the Divine what's it called? Divine Illumination?
Divine Illumination, yeah.
Yeah, that one.
And it's only a 3-minute cooldown. 3-minute cooldown reduces all spell costs by 50% for 15 seconds.
That's nutty. Can I just say quickly, the Blood Elf Zone is a vibe, man. I mean, part of me wishes I'm not going to be a Sweat Lord and I could just level 1 from 1 and all that. Maybe we'll do a hardcore challenge or something. That's what it's perfect for. The zone is freaking glorious. The music is actually freaking glorious. How cool is it that we're actually able to like play a game and stream it and also do these guides? For like the past 3 years, it's always been slides. We're actually in a beta playing this right now. Again.
The funny thing is, the first thing I made in TBC, actual TBC, was a Blood Elf Paladin. I planned to make it my main, but it never got to level 60, and I started playing the Priest instead, because that was already level 60. I said 60, right? I meant 70. But the Priest started from max level, and the Paladin didn't.
Also, I'm happy to report, I might be the first person to test this in Classic WoW, the action cam does continue to work in TBC, boys.
Nice.
The action cam does work.
Yeah.
The question burning on all of your minds, dude. Yes.
Yeah, well, anyway, I think Holy Paladin in PvE is definitely you want to have one in your raid. I probably don't want 2, but 2 can still work. It's not that it won't work. 1 is probably necessary. Well, necessary. Nothing is necessary, but it's highly optimal in my opinion. Maybe not for the best min-max guilds out there, but for the most of the guilds you want to bring 1. I think the main problem with Holy Paladin is in PvP. Since you don't have the healing over time, you only have the hard cast, and your only defensive is bubble, which can be dispelled now by priests. Once you use the bubble, you're very vulnerable for, against that word.
You just go shock it. Yeah.
Shockadin is something on itself. That's a very interesting spec, actually. I tried that on some other server. Maybe a friend of mine did. And it's really, really nice in the sense that you have a healer, but he can also do quite a lot of damage. So it's a pure hybrid spec, basically, and you can do a little bit of both. And the damage is actually way better than I actually thought at first. So you can do almost as much damage as a full red paladin. And on top of that, you can still do some very, very good healing. and it's also very bursty damage. The only problem is you need to gear specifically for the Shokaden thing, so you can't do both, I think.
I do feel people sleep on Holy Paladin a little bit. In like, it is obviously there are better classes, but Holy Paladin can be good in some comps, and I think like a really good Holy Paladin can actually do really well. But obviously, like when compared to Druid or Priest, it's a lot. It's very hard to compare, right? But there are some good comps for Holy Paladin.
Well, 5s is the best to play Holy Paladin, right? Because you can. Well, 5s is just you burst someone down, so if you can bubble yourself and put Blessing of Protection on someone else, Blessing of Sacrifice on someone else, and then that's all you do, basically. Maybe not Ale is not agreeing. Is that right?
No, I'm not agreeing with No Hit Jerome saying play double healer hunter in chat.
Double healer hunter? Okay. Oh yeah, I have some stuff to say about Hunter. Good news about Hunter though.
Yeah, the troll.
But I think
shotguns are strong. They're very strong.
Yeah. I just the main problem, which, like I said, the main problem is you want to gear for it specifically, and it's only good for that, in my opinion. Maybe you can tank with the same gear somewhat, but you can't really do anything else with it. So, but other than Shokaden is quite fun, but I think you want to play it with something like a Pampyro Mage. I tried that a little bit on you know what. Yeah.
We're in the vanilla TBC going against a Shokaden warrior, and they absolutely blew us out of the water because it was unexpected to have that level of burst with an MS, and that was at like 2.2k rating, so that team was good, and like they were surprised for sure. So it's something that, like, if you put all your eggs in one basket, I think you can get a lot of teams, and the play is fun and the burst is huge. So
yeah,
that's kind of another thing that's like interesting, that we'll see how the meta plays out with stuff like that. There might be some things like that are potentially like meta breakers, right, which will throw people's plans. So
I agree. I think a lot of people look at Shokaden and they think, oh, it's a meme, whatever. But they can really put out a lot of burst.
It's definitely not a meme. I can tell you that much. If you gear correctly, it's not really. It's not a meme. It plays, in my opinion, it plays quite a lot like the Wrath of the Lich King Holy Paladin, like the Prot Holy Paladin Wrath of the Lich King, where you could do the Holy Shield for quite some burst damage, and other than that, you were still a very good healer. This is kind of the same gameplay. You heal, and then you do the Holy Shock and the Judgment of your Seal of the Righteousness, and that does a lot of damage.
Yeah.
So you can do like 3, 4, 5k damage in a few seconds.
I just know going into some of the P server stuff recently, like I thought I'd never want a Holy Pally. I thought it was just like, imagine playing Holy Pally. I didn't see any use case for it. There is a use case. Like the buffs, you can make big plays with the bubbles and stuff too. Like you can really ignore a lot of mechanics with it. Is better than I thought, for whatever that's worth, man. Like there's sometimes that you genuinely are like, I wish we had a Holy Pally, and it is what it is.
I know there's a dungeon where you have a problem, right? One of the dungeons where you need to do.
There's you get basically you get like the longer the fight is, the longer your casts are. So you keep on getting stacks of the casts, but you can bubble and it wipes stacks. So.
And you have Holy Shock, so I guess.
Right.
And Seal of Light, but no, Paladins.
State your business.
I don't say that because I play one, but I honestly feel like all 3 specs of the Paladin are extremely unique and extremely fun to play in TBC, and that's probably the reason I play one. But I genuinely feel like Paladin has the most fun choices in like spec, and all 3 of them. It's very hard to pick one of the specs. I was thinking a very long time of playing Prot Paladin. I'm gonna play Red Paladin. I genuinely think all 3 of the specs are extremely nice to play, and if you don't know what to play and you want to play something enjoyable, Paladin I think definitely is one of the more enjoyable classes, whatever spec you want to play.
Can we talk about Prot? Because
definitely.
Like when I played back in the day, Prot Paladins were, so talking about like in TBC, Prot Paladins were always amazing for heroics, and on private servers always like, oh, let's get a Prot Pally, But back in the day when I played, Prot Pallies were, brought to every raid. They were still amazing. They were great for heroics, but people, had warriors, main tank a lot of fights. But now this time around, I think we're going to see a lot of prop paladins when they start to get geared up, tanking fights that people thought that only warriors can tank and stuff like that, right? I think prop paladin is. I definitely want to level one up for like doing heroics and Karen and stuff like that. I think prop paladin is going to this time around in TBC turn a lot of people's heads around. I think people are going to see just how capable prop paladin is on a lot of fights. Obviously, they don't have the cooldowns that a warrior has. But once they get fully defense capped and aren't getting crushed anymore, they can take a good amount of damage, right? And the fact is, they can hold threat so damn well, right? Melderon, was having issues pulling off of other tanks in dungeons, warriors. I don't know if he went with the druid, but could never pull off the paladin tanks. Even in their shit they had. The amount of threat, obviously a warrior can, on a long fight over time, can get massive amount of threats. But when we're talking about, AoE mobs and people just blowing shit up, paladins are first of all, I think they're a lot of fun. I think, the prot, I love the fact of, them getting mana back as they get healed. It's like such a cool little, thing that happens at that they bring into the table. Having a taunt, Avenger Shield and all that. I just feel like prop paladin makes me want to tank.
Yeah.
Someone who started tanking until Wrath makes me want to tank.
As a DPS,
do that.
As a DPS, you get spoiled playing with prop allies too. It almost kind of feels bad about TBC though. At the same time, like when you run with a prop pally, like you almost tank shame the other tanks a little bit. You're just kind of like warrior, like fine.
I mean, that's how I feel as a warrior. Like just we did Durnhold yesterday with a prop pally tank, and he was just so sticky on everything. I was just like, I was going ham, and it didn't matter. Like now they have a taunt as well. Like even if one thing comes off of them, like boom, taunt back on them, and it's like a multi taunt as well.
It's a multi taunt, yeah. It's like three targets, right?
Yeah.
And he was wearing mail pieces too for spell power, and it was just like, it was fine. So
yeah. Funny.
Super.
Yeah, the nice thing about prop paladin also is personally tanking. I feel is always very stressful on a warrior, and a little bit stressful on the druid as well. But on a prop paladin, it doesn't feel like that at all. You will have the threat, and it just feels great. It doesn't feel stressful at all. It's way different play style than warrior. You don't have to be like the sweaty little motherfucker that's stance dancing and all that crap. You just, some people like that, I suppose.
I think this is where I announced that I'm not going to play prot, and I'm going Fury. Yeah, Paladins have replaced me.
You're going Fury, bro? For real? You're going to go the Fury Dream in TBC? Oh, that's kind of interesting.
Prot is just way better than me. It's I can't compare.
Yeah, I just need to main your mage, and then we can just do me, you, and Navik do RMP all week.
It's going to be interesting to see how much threat they actually do in raid encounters, to see how you need to build your group setup and stuff. If you want to have paladins in like a more spellcaster group, get them spell crit, spell hit, those totems and stuff. If it's not necessary, you can put Tressa Druid with it and make it more tanky maybe. So I think that's interesting, see how it evolves, where they end up.
Yeah, Prop Alley, I talked with Dr. Kill months and months ago about why he likes playing Prop Alley over everything else, and he just said, I like it because you can carry an entire guild on your back as a Prop Alley. You can carry the entire guild. You can personally be the bankroll of the guild, just your gold farming, the ability, you're just the S tier tank for that whole first chapter of the server. They're probably the speedrun tank too. We'll have to see. But
I think so, yeah.
Consecration scales 1-to-1 with spell power in TBC, as opposed in Classic it's like 30% or something. That's like really abysmal.
Wow.
Yeah, it scales 1-to-1.
So I wonder if you have tier 3 set from Nax, would that be like the best set to start prot tanking in level 60 to whatever level dungeons?
I'm not sure. Maybe. What does it do?
Because it only has healing in vanilla, but now you get spell power once TBC hits. So you have a lot of armor. You have a lot of stamina on it, and you have a lot of spell power on it. So it's probably not the best gear, but many paladins will have it because they play holy now, so you can quite easily start tanking, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, Prot's in a great space. Like, if you want to main Prot Pally, it's probably, if you look back on the history of WoW, one of the most iconic things you could play in the context of an expansion. It's up there with, you know, Fury Warrior and Classic, right? It's up there with, what's another one? Like, DKs and Wrath or something. You know, it's like a vibe in and of itself. You look cool, it feels good, you're powerful, you're desired in game. Like, yeah.
So, then we have Red Paladin, of course. Red Paladin.
Yeah, thoughts on Red? I will say there have been certain fights like Gruels and stuff where we have a really good Red Paladin in our guild, and he does really good damage on Gruels. But overall, if I look at the average Red Pally, the damage has been lower than expected for me. Like, what do you guys think though? I don't know. Maybe.
Now,
it's hard to say. Go on. Yeah.
Because it's going to be on, because like, you know, when seal twisting with blood and command, like, you know, you can do a decent amount of damage, right? I like I said, I always watched Costine, and he would switch between Ret and Prot, and I've seen him top DPS, you know, fights, and I've seen Red Paladins do it. So I wonder if I don't know how it works on the private server that you play on, or you know, but if the seal twisting is the same and how it is going to be in TBC, but you know, Red Paladins are, you know, are no longer the meme they were in Classic, right? Like, you know, they're going to be doing a good amount of DPS.
I think even if they don't top the meters, they still bring a lot of value to the raid. You still have the additional blessing, basically salvation for all classes, or blessing of light on the healers probably. But anyway, you have a good blessing. You have an aura. You have an aura that gives 2% damage to your whole party. So that's quite good. You have the seal of the Crusader with talents. It gives an additional 3% crit to the whole raid. Whether you're a spellcaster or a melee, doesn't matter. So you have quite a lot of interesting buffs. And also you, what is it? Refresh the judgment of all paladins.
Right.
Or the seal of all paladins. Well, the judgment basically of all paladins. So that's very important as well, and it should not be slept on, I think. Because that means that your holy paladin and your prot paladin, basically your holy paladin, because your prot paladin can do it himself, but you can keep their seals up as well. So it's an additional debuff on the boss, which is beneficial. Like, could be seal of light, seal of wisdom, that you're keeping up on top of your own seals. So I think it brings a lot of value, and on top of that, you have quite decent damage. It's a little bit comparable with shamans, like damage shamans in a sense.
You know, one thing I noticed, bro, it seems like kind of easy to get weapons in TBC. Is this dumb chat? I mean, like, from what I've seen, people don't really, like, you would think Gore Howl, you know, and these cool weapons that drop, these two-handers and stuff are super desired in raids. Like, they're kind of not. People are going for their Storm Heralds and stuff. Like, you know, these cool weapons drop in raids and dungeons, and I feel like they're kind of easy to get if you're gonna play Ret, or if you're gonna go try to get a two-hander as a shaman or something.
Yeah,
because
there's only two classes that really use it, right? So you have Arms Warrior and you're the Red Paladin. So that's probably two people in the entirety of the raid that use it.
And also, it's gonna want a sword, so it's probably more for PvP. And is probably the worst for PvP as well. So a little bit less in demand. I think a lot of the min-maxers are going to definitely be going for blacksmith weapons, right? So it kind of relieves the pressure on weapons a bunch.
Unlike Classic, you know, Classic is just the nightmare for weapons, right? Trying to compete for those.
You know what? I think Red Paladins are going to be, it's just a gut feeling, but I think they are going to be very good in arenas initially. I tried them out a little bit, and it's not that hard to deal a lot of damage. I was playing with Seal of Command. I didn't play too much with Blood. Sorry, Ale?
Could you talk us through that? Just like how that damage kind of rotation works?
Yeah. So you want to know specifically because I'm in arena, right? Because
well, just I feel like they're doing a lot of damage right now, and like so.
Yeah.
Why?
So I played on a server that should not be named, and I only used Seal of Command as a seal in PvP. Because at that point I didn't know about Seal of Blood for Alliance yet. It was before BlizzCon, right? I think it's a Season 5 server. And I played some 2s, I played some 3s with warriors, with basically any class paired up. And it wasn't hard to keep up with the damage of a warrior. I did quite a bit more damage oftentimes. And I was by no means... I mean, I'm not a pro in PvP. I didn't play a lot of Red Paladin in Classic, and never really played a lot of Red Paladin, but I felt like I did quite some big burst damage and some heavy steady damage as well, because of the Seal of Command. You have the burst damage, and it wasn't... And wings, yeah, but wings is strange to use, so because if you use wings, you can die, because you don't have bubble for a minute. Right. Basically, I just spammed my cooldown, so I'm not, like I said, I'm not a big pro in PvP, so I just use Crusader Strike and Judgment. I did use Judgment, even though it doesn't do that much damage. And other than that, I kept Freedom on myself, cleansed myself all the time, and basically tried to just stick on a target and hit whatever I could. But it's nothing very technical, but my damage, I felt like my damage was on the high side. Like one of the highest, usually when I could stick on my target, and more often than not I could, because of self-cleansing and Blessing of Freedom.
Interestingly enough, guys, if you're looking at a class in spec that has the potential to one-shot, like legitimately one-shot, for like 100 to 0 or 80 to 0, Paladin is one of them on the Red Pally. Yep. They have this one's spec, shout out to Spank for I believe inventing it, but the whole cactus spec, so you go Ret Reckoning, or is it Ret Reckoning? What is the name of the blanket on the one where it stacks up the charges of it? Stacks it is Reckoning, right? Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Red Reckoning. Yeah.
I should add, I didn't play that spec. I just went deeper in Arena. And that did quite a lot of... I think it did way more damage than I expected, so it was surprising. And I think early TBC it will even do more damage.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Ale, did you have any specific questions on that? But I don't feel like I answered your question.
Yeah, good. More so just how will that change with the seal twisting potential that they've implemented for TBC beta?
Yeah, so the seal twisting is... like I said, I'm not very good with it, and I tried it on target dummies. It feels a bit strange to put it into your rotation at first, so I guess it's something to get used to. Because if you seal twist and you sometimes miss a cooldown on something else, something gets off cooldown and it's still on the global because you seal twist. So when I do it, or when I did it at first, it was a DPS loss for me. In PvP, it's probably different because you're running on your... Well, you basically are not sticking on a target all the time, so you can probably seal twist better without losing globals. In PvE, it felt strange on a target dummy. I guess if you get used to it, you can get a seal twist in every now and then and have increased damage. But I guess we need to wait and see how it actually plays out.
Yeah,
I played against the Red Paladin in arenas, and he seal twisted, and that was another level than what I did. I can tell you that.
I think you can seal twist command with blood, I think it is, and then the interaction with Wind Fury and Reckoning, TLDR, you can one-shot people. It's pretty majestic to watch. Like, there's some clips of my buddy Gucci. He had like bark skin on. He's a druid sitting at like 85%, and he just gets evaporated. You know, it's interesting too, because the Paladin, it seems like the class they synergize most with is Shaman, which is so weird because they're like in terms of like their lore and stuff, you're all about holy damage and stuff, and they're against each other. It's Alliance for Sword. Now they're best buddies. One has an offensive dispel only, one has defensive dispel only, and they both have their little Wind Fury type effects. And you can play it either way. Like, I saw this guy playing Enhanced Shaman Holy Pally in the arena. I mean, it's probably not like some S tier or A tier comp, but you can make it work in that respect too. Not only just make Ret Resto, you can do Enhance enhance
Yeah,
hull.
that's
Either way,
interesting.
they synergize it quite a bit.
I mean, when you pop wings, bloodlust, and you have wind fury down, like you said, it's that one shot that's possible. And like, we were talking earlier, like how the shamans were like the workhorse of the horde, and like the paladins were the workhorse of the alliance back in the day. But they definitely do synergize really well. And I mean, one of the things I'm most excited about is just Crusader aura. But like all in all, I think red paladins are a lot of fun. They went from being like we called them the fat class, where you can just sit there and like not do anything, like play with one hand, literally.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's still not like the most like crazy complex. It's not like but all in all, like seal twisting definitely does make it. So I think the way it works, right, is like when command procs, that's when you go into seal blood, right? So you wait for the command proc and then pop into seal blood.
Well, you basically do it right before the weapon swing. So you still have the previous seal in the batch and the new seal as well. But they changed it with spell batching. You'd still have the same effect. So the seal stays a little bit longer, even when you pop a new seal. So for a short period of time, you have two, and you want to time that right when you swing.
Gotcha.
But that makes it very strange and very, very unnatural to use if you're not used to it. Yeah.
I just, man, as someone who loves Classic, and it is my favorite game of all time, always will be, I find myself, the more and more I play TBC, if I'm being honest, just feeling like they did refine the game in many ways. Like, the game is really, really good in TBC, and all these specs we're talking about, it's like they really took a look at some of the deficiencies or problems. It doesn't mean the specs are broken in vanilla, but just some of the things that they were missing almost, and just polished them up a little bit, give them a little once-over. And
I personally think TBC is the peak of all MMOs, in my opinion.
Wow.
Yeah, I agree, especially on class design. But
everything else went downhill after this.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I don't know if you can see the game I'm playing right now, but this is. I always wondered how this was going to look in real Classic and not the scuffed private server. kind of rough around the edges, mangoes, whatever. It looks insane.
Nice.
It looks insane.
Beautiful. Look at the skybox, dude. Look how nice the skybox looks. Like it's just
Yeah, it looks
I love it.
Insane, dude.
So if you wonder why so many people play Blood Elf, that's why.
Pretty much.
Oh
man.
yeah.
Pretty much. So what do you think? Doing all things considered, like, can people play any one of the any one of the Pally specs with a full heart? Could you main Holy Pally and not be made fun of and laughed off stage? What I mean.
You mean like in arenas or in general?
Just in general, can you just be like a Holy Pally main and just?
Yeah, definitely, most definitely. Yeah. You can be any class main, and you will. None of the classes or none of the specs are bad. They are all useful, and you want to have one of each. Except if you're like a very sweaty min-max guild that only takes warlocks or something like that, then maybe not. And then you still want to have prot paladins. So you always want to have paladins in the raid, but you a general setup will have one of each paladin spec.
Yeah,
it's necessary to have, in my opinion.
Yes.
What do you think, Meldoron? Has your opinion on paladins softened a bit, or you still hate them?
Well, I welcome them, but I still think, like, from an RP perspective, it's just weird having them, to be honest.
I mean, you love prop paladins now, though, don't you?
As a DPSer, I do, yeah, because I feel like they're the only ones that could really maintain that sticky threat. But it has nothing to do with the class itself. I think Dane will agree with me here. It just feels weird having the faction you didn't have in Classic. You just have them automatically. It's kind of strange.
It definitely feels strange. Yeah. I guess you can see or look at the Paladin as a Blood Knight on Horde side.
Yeah, that's what I.
Yeah, and Shaman does make a little bit of sense for Alliance, but it's still strange.
It is very strange, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, the Draenei just, like, crash landed and just happened upon these furl bogs, and we're like, oh, we'll teach you shamanism. And they became shaman, and then the Blood Elves are just like, oh yeah, we just so happen to have the same abilities as Alliance Paladins.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
let's go Hunter next, boys. There is some
Yeah.
stuff I want to talk about Hunter. I wanted to get it off my chest. It's been a roller coaster for me, man, with regard to the racials, with regard to classes. It's an intricate game. There's a lot of nuance to it. The more and more you learn about it, you have one opinion one day, the next day you change things around. I was very excited about Hunter going into TBC, right? Very excited. I was really thinking about going and maining a Hunter. Boosted one up on a server we shall not mention. Was pumping in PvE, soon to realize that the PvP playstyle was so obtuse. It felt bad, and losing all the 1v1s. So I went through like a phase of kind of being like a Hunter doomer after that, and thinking that they're good in PvP, but the playstyle is so scuffed. I'm kind of back up on a Hunter bloom arc right now, and the reason I say that is I do think like the strongest teams in twos, for whatever that's worth, and I love twos bracket, is DPR and is DPR. I mean, is DPR. I think there's going to be a ton of Discipline Priest Rogue on the ladder, and if there are a ton of Discipline Priest Rogue on the ladder, Hunter teams will rinse them. I mean, I think, at least. And I'm just going through this phase again, guys, where I think like Hunters can be pretty good in the arena, man, and the double healer, drain comp in threes. And also the other thing I want to say about Hunters, or about these comps in general that you play, if you're like at the top of the ladder or towards the very top, you have to be like very delicate with your MMR. You can't just spam games. Like, you're trying to see who's queuing, and you're very tactical about your games, and you have to win those games. And you're only playing a couple sometimes. And when you're playing those type of games, you want to be playing these long, drawn-out control type games with mana drain and stuff, as opposed to like double DPS or some super Zug comp that a blind misses and you lose the game. I know this team is a lot really nonsensical and all over the place, but where I'm getting to is I think Hunter's in a good position in PvP, man, or could be, given what the meta might develop out into. Ale, you've played a ton of PvP as well, on some of the P servers and stuff. How you feeling about Hunter and TBC and PvP? I guess I'm pretty interested as well.
It's terrifying because to me it feels like a horror movie with the Blob, right? It's like a slow death. It's coming for you, and it's really hard to stop. So like playing against those like drain comps with Hunters, as a priest, it's absolutely horrifying because you get in line to play them at all, and you just lose. What is it, like 800 mana Viper Sting? Just like, you're toast if you don't have a poison dispel. So like they put you on a very, very fast clock, and for classes who can't dispel that poison, it's very rough, right?
Yeah, like priest, fucking Viper Sting. Don't even get me started on that shit.
Yeah,
dude.
Def Camp hates that shit so much. Yeah.
Troll Hunters have as well. Just like map control using their traps is huge as well. They'll basically block off an entire section of the map with their freezing trap that make it so going over that is brutal. They'll just cut you across that all day. And then combined with pillars, like they're very like strategical kind of as a class like that. Like they put you on a clock, they can like section you out of games, like almost like a good like basketball player can like play like zone defense on you in a way, right? And I think like you say, they are better than people think they are, especially with the patch we're getting. So I always take this back to vanilla TBC. Hamchuk, the Hunter Lord, came out and showed everybody how to play a Hunter properly, and was winning like MLG tournaments at that point. And until then, everybody thought they were trash, and that kind of created like this resurgence. Well, guess what? We're getting this like latest patch with a bunch of the buffed Hunter changes, like the Arcane Shot Dispel, stacking poison, things like that. I think Hunter's going to be a lot better in arena than people remember and expect. So I'm definitely there with you. Are they going to be like S tier? I'm not sure. Some comps, but definitely A tier, I would say.
Thing is, if the meta is rogue heavy and priest heavy, I think Hunters are going to do well. And who am I, right? I'm just some random guy. Don't believe me if you want. But the Viper Sting whittles people down, and Hunters also shut down rogues. And basically no classes can shut down rogues. Like, it's so, like, what does a rogue get shut down by? Like, they have uptime on everybody with full cooldowns. The thing is, freezing trap, or the frost trap, whatever, the blanket, trap on the ground is one of the most powerful spells. Cocaine traps. That is one of the most powerful spells in the game, dude. The flare, preventing the vanish, bro.
Good flare usage and bestial wrath. It's like, it's super good. I mean, when you have immunities and I think Hunter can do like you said, Kargoz, priest with a lot of priest rogue, you're gonna see a lot of priest rogue 2v2. A good druid hunter comp, very tough for a priest rogue 2v2.
Yep.
And if we're talking 3v3, it's gonna yep. I mean RMP versus like hunter warrior druid is a tough one.
A good hunter team is terrifying, man.
Hunter has all the tools, right? But it's super hard to use, in my opinion. It feels. I played quite a bit of Hunter also in Arena. Well, quite a bit. I tried to play quite a bit of Hunter and duel with it, and it feels very tough to play it. Probably because I play the noob class Paladin, but Hunter feels hard, man. You have all the tools, but I can't make it work.
You just have to know that Freezing Trap is one of the, or Frost Trap is one of the most powerful spells in the game. You never leave your Frost Trap. It sounds so annoying, and it is annoying. It's probably the closest thing some people would consider like a cancer comp, like the double healer Hunter teams or Hunter Druid and twos. Like, you never leave your Frost Trap. So does that sound fun to you if you want to play it? That's a whole nother question. But you just sit Frost Trap, and maybe you just pop out for a second, plink somebody with a little bit of damage, and you refuse to fight outside of your Frost Trap. And just Viper's Thing, stay alive, win game, man. It's terrifying.
Yeah. The best thing in Arena to have is control, and Hunters definitely have a lot of control. You can literally control, like you're saying, Al, you can control the map. You can, trap placement is huge, flare placement is huge. Being able to kite, and like having a druid as a teammate with like Cyclone and Roots, they can be really strong. Because people think, when they think CC, what do you think? What comes first usually? Mage or rogue, right? But people don't realize that Hunter is very and the how Chap Strange in BC, Freezing Trap. It's very strong. You don't have to be in combat. It's crazy just how good a really high skill capped Hunter can be.
Yeah.
Same goes with Mage, but Hunter is really amazing too. I mean, same goes with every class, right?
People say that Warlocks counter Hunters too, Warlock teams, I guess, because they can tap and like that negates some of the impact of Viper's Thing. But I don't see it. I mean, I'm playing a Warlock right now. All I'm saying, man, is if you go up against a Hunter team that's willing to just sit there in Frost Trap with the Druid, it seems unwinnable at times. I'm sure there are strategies for it, but yeah, man. But on the PvE side of things, right, Hunters are absolute monster mashers. You think they're top DPS, right? But you don't know by how much if you haven't been playing on some of the P servers and practicing and kind of like looking into it. You hear that they're top DPS. It's by a substantial margin, I have to say. Like, especially in these early phases. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out once we get to like tier 6 and beyond. Maybe things shift around. Arcane Mages, people say, in tier 5 so strong. These Hunters with the Beast Lord set, they do so much damage, and you can beat them out as other classes. Like, if it's a really short fight, like a Mage could beat them out, right? A really short fight, and they're just dumping all their mana. If it's a really long fight, a Warlock will beat them. But generally speaking, the Hunters are just top by a good chunk, man.
Yeah. The real question is how important is the melee weaving? Is that a thing?
Not a thing anymore in TBC. Your weapons are just kind of...
I heard it is a thing actually in TBC.
Really?
Yeah, we gotta wait to see, I guess.
Some recent developments, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, someone on the beta tried it, and apparently you can, as a hunter, stand in melee range, basically, or close to melee range, and between your shots you melee weave, and it adds quite a lot of damage.
The thing is, your steady shot is just such insane damage that you would have to beat that.
Yeah, but you don't have to stand very far away, do you?
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're in a melee, you're not steady shotting, but it's possible. Honestly, the big brains will figure it out. We'll see.
One of the interesting things with Hunters in the beta actually is the one button macro isn't working. So I think that if that goes through to live, I don't think they're going to be as easy to be at the top as everybody thinks. So you're actually going to have like interactive play. So I mean, we'll see. Like on private servers, like maybe, but I think that's still yet to be seen for live for TBC.
I think it's a really good thing though, because without the one button macro, I think the Hunter rotation is actually kind of fun. I don't know, that's me, but
for sure, it's probably a good thing too, right? Because if you're a good Hunter, like you'll be able to do it no problem and just get your swing timer and do what you did in Classic, and it'll be okay, and it'll allow you to differentiate yourself a lot more. So
Yeah.
even if I'm a hunter player, I'm probably happy with that, because what if you put a ton and learn the little nuances of your rotation, you come super prepared with consumes, and that only gets you like a 1 to 2% difference as opposed to somebody who's just doesn't really care and just spamming the macro, right, and can still get 99% of the way there, right, 98% of the way there.
I just I'm always I love getting to when you first get to level 70, you're doing these heroics, everyone's in crap gear, and you just see how much you see hunters doing double the damage everyone else. They do so much damage with shit gear compared to everyone else. It's crazy. So I think we'll see. I don't know about you guys, but like Al said, I think Shaman would probably be one of the most played classes, and then number 2, it's probably gonna be a tie between hunters and warlocks. What do you guys think?
Like I said, the long fights, the warlocks will pull ahead by the hunters by a decent margin, right? Really long fights, in the early phases, we'll say Prince and
I meant
Kerosene.
play. I mean play
population.
Population. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Hunters, they used to be very popular in Classic. Somehow we never managed to find hunters in the guild, but I think they are already one of the more played classes, and now they are actually a good class in TBC. So they're probably going to be one of the most popular. I would agree.
Yeah. I mean, Hunter's a great class in TBC, boys. In PvP and PvE, I would. You can go the distance, man. Whatever your goals are. All I will say is
what about the specs?
What
about marksmanship? Is that the viable thing? Because people always talk about beast mastery and then bring one survival, but what about marksmanship? Is there any chance for someone who loves marksmanship to be in a raid?
In a raid, I'm not so sure. I guess maybe you could in theory. I don't think it has a place in PvE. If I'm guessing right off the top of the head. In PvP though, it can have a place. Silencing shot's really good. You can kind of go. There's a bunch of different hunter specs. They usually involve entrapment in the survival tree because it's so powerful. But you can go marks for sure, and on the PvP side of things, silencing shot is going to give you 99% of the time more value than Wyvern's thing, considering so many undeads and all this. I'd say marksmanship has more of a viability on the PvP side, and BGs they probably absolutely slap, man. Marksmanship hunters just opening up for max range.
I love that crossbow animation.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I started leveling a hunter in Classic. He's almost 50 or so, just because I really want to just mess around with a hunter in TBC. Like I said, I always joked about hunters, female night elf hunters not being my least favorite thing and all, but the hunter class in general has really grown on me over the last couple months. And looking forward into TBC, I mean, getting misdirection too, that's a huge having misdirection is going to be nice, but overall, watching a hunter, people in our guild Buzz, and even Meldron likes to do it, watching a hunter pull, the finesse of it, and also now, being able to do such good damage. I think it's got a lot of allure for a lot of people. It's a great class to level with. It's a great class to do some fun PvP with. And it's a great class to raid with. I mean, you can't really ask for more than that, right? It's got a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. The one thing I'm scared of with Hunter is it looks easy when you level it, but it's actually very hard if you want to play it to the full capacity that it can be played at. That's a bit scary for me personally.
I feel like that goes for most classes though. Playing the class at its max potential, it takes some skill, right? It's gonna and time and practice. For me, for the longest time, I was so afraid of the shaman class because of totems, but then once I finally made a shaman and just thought of totems like another spell, it's much more fluid. Even though Al make fun of me and say I always forget to drop my Wind Fury or whatever, that's only in BGs, okay? It's time and practice, right? I know Kargoz can attest to this for arena, right? You're not going to walk into the arena, guys, and get rank 1. It takes maybe not as much time to get rank 14 in Classic, but you're going to be doing so many arenas on your downtime, getting, not just getting your arena rating up, but getting practice up. You got to go against all these different comps, and figure out, okay, what to do against this comp, what to do against that comp. And each player, so once you go against different players, you're gonna know, okay, these guys play much more offensively. We got to know how to go against that. Like, you can go against the same comps, but then each people play those comps differently, right? So, just like when it comes to PvP, when it comes to every class, consistency is key, and it's getting that practice that really makes you the better player.
I'll tell you what, too. I spoke with Rack and a few of the big brains. Been in the TBC arena game for a while, and they all can pretty much attest, boys, that season 1 BM can get there, man. They can get there, and that's why a lot of these same people will often discount season 1. They think it's kind of like a meme as opposed to the later seasons because there just isn't enough resilience there. I don't know what to think yet because I haven't really been through it. I think there's a certain appeal to me with season 1, the fact that there's more itemization choices, PvE gear plays more of a role, but just throwing that out there for you to munch on. I mean, if you want to go BM and maybe go with a rogue or go with a double DPS, you can probably swing glad. I still think season 1, like at the end, after like the people who are finishing rank 1, it's going to be like DPR or something like. You can go ham and BM Zug with a buddy for season 1 at least. Before you're relegated to Viper stinging everything to death. Yeah,
I was thinking about that too, Kargoz. Like, I remember back in the day, season 1 was so different, right? Because like double dot classes were like Affliction, Shadow, Priest was like so, because resilience wasn't the same, right? So you had all these like classes just dotting people, destroying them, double DPS, and then but like this time around, Priest. I'm thinking about without the resilience and all, and in the game, like the absorb shields for Priest is going to be really strong season 1. Obviously because people aren't going to be able to do as much damage, and the coefficients are the way that's that. So later on, a shield is going to be much harder to go through in season 1 for someone that is in season 2. Obviously, you get the spell soul, whatever. But still, I think as a Priest, like I'm thinking about is this maybe the best time to try to get glad if I can? I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and see how things play out. I think a lot of people, like I said, are going to prepare and try to get their PvE gear as quickly as possible, and it's going to be crazy for those first couple months of arena, man. It's going to be crazy. Like wait for it now, guys. Like there's going to be so many VODs and people getting because the first couple weeks or months of arena are going to be just an absolute clusterfuck, and it's going to be so much fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I can see that initial push being so much fun, man.
Yeah,
I'm at a loss for words how excited I am for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hunter's in a great spot. I think the last class we'll finish on today is
Priest.
Warrior, maybe.
Let's go Warrior. I think.
Fuck.
People, this is a big one though, man, because that's the
one.
most popular class in Classic, right?
Yeah.
So how
I tried, guys.
shitty will they be? If shitty at all, maybe they're going to be low-key powerful as hell. There's a lot of people determined to make Fury work. Ale's going Fury. I will say, just to start this part of the conversation off, Melee, so far, and hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. People are making it seem like it's this unplayable thing. It seems pretty playable to me. I mean, you're not, maybe some of the mechanics...
I've been mostly melee comps so far, and we are, I don't know, like last night, you, me, and that other warrior, we were just annihilating shit. I mean, it was Durnhold. So it was the level appropriate dungeon. It was 68, right? We were all 67, 66, 68. I don't know, man. We just mowed through that place.
But tell them what you said about my Shadow Priest, though.
What did I say about your Shadow Priest?
You said Ale was doing good damage and all, but Shadow was just I was just when we were doing.
On single target, when we were questing, you were doing a lot more damage than Ale. But remember.
Yeah. Whoa! You didn't tell me this.
Yeah.
We did the same
quest.
We did the same quest. Well, I didn't get a chance to talk to him yet. We did the same quest we did. Remember this quest we were doing solo?
Yeah.
We did the same quest, and it took half the time. Honestly, yeah.
Let me break it down for you. There's a lot of big changes coming in TBC for Warriors. And while leveling, you definitely feel the struggle. And the big one, the biggest one right now is actually the expertise change. So, as an orc in Classic, you have a huge reduction in glancing blow on your white attacks. Well, going into TBC, that's all changed over to expertise, and you need a lot more expertise. Right now, I don't really have enough, so hitting anything a few levels higher than me feels awful because critting them less, which isn't proccing Flurry, isn't getting Rampage. My white attacks are hitting them for nothing, so I'm getting even less rage. So, definitely fighting stuff higher than you kind of that old like leveling feeling of a warrior where like you can't fight stuff higher than you, that comes back in a big way in TBC. If you don't have enough expertise, it's rough. So you got to fight stuff equal level to you. Otherwise, you know, as the skiing instructor says in South Park, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah.
You know, so that was a big deal. So doing high level elites, real tough. The rage generation formula has changed as well. And basically what that means, if you have really good gear and weapons coming over from Classic, you're gonna feel significant difference. You're gonna be gaining a lot less rage. However, if you have worse gear, it's gonna feel a lot better. You're gonna be getting a lot more rage. It's normalized, right? So at least starting out with the gear, it definitely feels a bit rough. And that should improve hopefully at 70 once you start getting better gear, doing a lot more damage. It should amp up the rage gen, but at least while leveling, it's noticeable, especially because me, like I've probably played like 70% of my time in Classic as a warrior with full buffs. So like I've had like, you know, I'm used to like 50% crit and just like pounding stuff, and yeah, it's a world of difference. But that being said, sweeping strikes in the Fury Tree does feel great. I basically fight 2 to 3 things at all times. Once you get Victory Rush, you just start like
glory.
You really become a killing machine, just going from mob to mob to mob. And it actually does feel pretty good. It's way better for leveling. Obviously, it's going to hurt for like, you know, parsing and pumping those DPS fights, but by then I'll probably be arms anyways and have it back. So.
Have you seen, like, are you running meters, by the way, like, already? Because I know the add-ons are working in the beta now. You can use a couple of them. Have you tried to see what your damage is like,
yeah, so
moving into TBC, like, in these dungeons?
Damage is really good because you, at least for us, when we were playing with the Paladin, we were cleaving everything. And, like, warriors are, like, amazing at cleave. Like, literally, we have cleave, right? So, with sweeping strikes and cleave and whirlwind, you're just hitting everything multiple times. And yeah, it's like in the dungeon yesterday we were doing, like, warrior was #1. So
yeah,
really, wow, yeah.
I will say on those cleave packs, like Ale said, and Ale, I want to thank you now because you're like the only orc warrior that knows when to like use Blood Fury and when not to. Because like every other person just pops Blood Fury and then they're getting destroyed. I'm like, what the hell? Ale actually waits until it's like the right time to do it. But
I just
Ale,
don't
yeah,
yell it more, man. So I just hold it.
there you go. But Ale let us watch this video yesterday out of
I use Blood Fury on
FST.
cooldown, by the way.
Yeah, he does. Whatever. But you know, warrior. It was an arms warrior in SSC cleaving, and like the damage that warriors can do when cleaving is actually like kind of ridiculous. I wasn't expecting to see those kind of numbers coming out of a warrior in TBC, but people who think that, you know, warriors are crap, they said like when if there's a fight and there's multiple mobs to be cleaved, expect to be pretty high on the damage meters as a warrior. From what I saw. So, you know, it's not all, you know, oh yeah, you better all guys all go pro. Obviously there's going to be a lot of warriors that are going to find themselves unemployed in TBC, right? I mean, they're going to have to find new, you know, classes and specs. There's so many in Classic, but I think that you know, bringing 1 or 2 or more, you know, maybe 2 arms warriors to raid is definitely realistic, you know.
You think so?
Is there a spot for a Fury warrior in a raid?
A Fury.
They're low key powerful, and like the difference isn't going to be like Classic where it was like you bring a Ret Pally and like he's like just barely above your tanks, right? Or if he is like, if you bring a Fury warrior who's like properly geared, properly skilled, they're going to be like 10% less than, you know, your hunters or your other melee DPS, right? Depending, they're able to stay alive and do that sort of thing. The gap is small enough where if you don't have enough hunters, like you'll bring in like a rogue or a Fury warrior. It's not that bad, right? It's just that they tend to be more DPS as a hunter of equal level, and because they're ranged, right? But yeah, like definitely, I think there is going to be a lot more Furies and rogues being played than people expect. Even for our guild, like we just don't have enough hunters to play in, and you know, the damage is going to have to be fine with it, right? So.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing at what you're saying. I was laughing at Kargoz living the warrior life.
I succumbed. I forgot I was a warrior. You weren't kidding, Ale. This gear actually is pretty bad, bro. I can't kill a pig, bro.
It's like watching Def Camp Meltdown 2 hardcore.
Yeah, it's like so like I'll regularly have Ale as a party member because as I'm running around doing something, and then like I don't know, 5 out of 10 times I look at my bars and Ale's dead.
Yeah. But you have to play a warrior like that.
I know
right?
he just pulls like 30,000 mobs and just yeah.
I think what you said, Ale, it's extremely interesting because many people are like they have their mindset on the raid setup with 3-4 hunters, 3 to 4 warlocks, and no fury warrior, maybe an arms warrior. Well, definitely an arms warrior, maybe no rogue. Like a very strict raid setup. And now you say, well, it's probably only like 10% difference with the hunters, so you can definitely just do it with the warriors or rogues potentially. I think that's quite an interesting take, and I hope it opens up some eyes from people that are stuck in the strict setup.
Yeah, it's not going to be like a 50% difference like it was in Classic with Ret Pallies. Like warriors will still pump. Right, they'll still. I think it's going to open eyes because, like, kind of the community right now feels like, you know, if you're not a hunter or a warlock, like, we don't want you, and like that attitude, I think, like, needs to change. Like, yeah, they're the best, but they're not like significantly so much better that there's no use bringing anybody else.
I just want to know what they can do, man. I want to see a sweaty 100 parse classic warrior.
Look at the video.
Go into TBC and fully theorycraft, min-max everything, full buffs, everything they can possibly do, and hit Karazhan, you know, in the first couple weeks, and hit Mags and Gruels and see what they can put out. It might.
Follow my channel, man. I'll show you the way. I'm gonna pump.
You will. Link in the video. Link me though. Watch it on stream if we can.
There is a video of like the #1 warrior in the world. He raids with bipolar. His name's Orlando. He has a peace server video of a cleave fight where he's #1 DPS by like double. He's like 5k DPS, and it's a really specific cleave spec because he does have Death Wish as Fury, but like he absolutely just like destroys everybody. And I think in certain fights, like, it's definitely there. If you can hit multi-target, warriors will be #1 DPS over hunters and things like that. That was in SSC. It was what's his name? It's the Naga dude with the warrior shoulder plates.
Kargoz. Lord, what the hell's his name? Something Lord or something like that, right?
What's that? So what's his name?
We're asking you that. He's a Naga and he has the warrior shoulder plates in SSC. Is it Fathom Lord?
Fathom Lord something.
Fathom Lord, that's it.
Fathom Lord something. Yeah. And he has
you gotta watch his VOD,
he has a bunch of ads on him, right? And you have to.
Yes.
Yeah. Think of it. Yeah.
So like having no walls and just blasting, that's like best case scenario for warrior. Like you do absolutely insane damage, and like it's like on certain fights, like I think definitely like warriors will be topping meters and really pumping. So do not fret, warrior. If that's what you want, find your place. Otherwise, you know, craft your Storm Herald and go be a king in arena.
In arena, sure.
I think it would be very interesting to do some raid setups, but maybe that's something for a different episode. To see where specifically the warrior fits in, or the more melee classes fit in a raid. Because when you look at raid setups, you kind of try to make melee groups and caster groups based on the shaman totems. So if you put one too many melee in, that screws with the group setup. So I'm kind of interested in seeing your takes on raid setups as well.
It also is like a really fun and interactive like rotation, and like I think compared to hunters, especially BM, like it's a lot funner. Same with arms. Even for us, our guild going into TBC, like we're having trouble getting people to play hunters because people just don't. Even though they're like, you know, supposedly the top king pumpers and things like that, it's just like people are just, it's kind of uninteresting, right? So what are we gonna do? Well, if we can't get more people to play hunters, like we're gonna have to sub those in with you know, with a rogue maybe or a warrior, you know, and
yeah, like people. I mean, listen, TBC in whole is more friendly towards caster DPS, right? Like as a whole. However, like I said, there are fights where there are melee friendly, where melee can do a lot of damage. But at the end of the day, like there are going to be people out there who min-max and try to get the perfect raid setup, right? Where they have obviously you have one of one rogue, one maybe one warrior, one red paladin, then you got 4 or 5 warlocks and a bunch of hunters and stuff like that. Like most people are going to try to do that, and it's going to happen a lot. But at the end of the day, you're going to be able to hopefully clear content with groups that are not specifically tuned like that, right? You will be okay. As stuff goes on, you get later into Sunwell. Obviously, it's going to get more difficult. I mean, we're going to have to wait and see what the content is like pre-nerf and what happens with drums and everything like that. But at the end of the day, man, like you really don't need to have the min-max best raid comp to clear SSC, right?
So Spank's hitting me up right now. He's in the chat. I've been getting some lessons from him. He's like one of the has one of the best minds about like TBC just in general, like on the planet Earth. And he said check Discord. He just sent me a few screenshots. I'll pull them up if anybody's interested. He just said Fury's working fine.
There you go.
We'll see. What?
Karg, play that video real quick. I put in chat.
Okay.
Just like the first 20 seconds of it.
Okay, I'll play it in 1 second. Let me take a look at this.
Yeah. Oh, right.
No, that's just Hellfire. That's what's on the beta. It's Hellfire.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if the stream can see this. Stream, can you see the screenshot? What are we looking at here? Let's take a look. So we're looking at a Fury Warrior. Or some kind of warrior. I don't know if it's... Yeah, I guess it's Fury, based on what Spank said. Doing 3,200 damage here in Highjaw.
Wow.
That's nutty. The thing is, you don't know exactly how much gear this character has, right? Like people say that towards the end of the game with expertise and Sunwell Plateau and tier 6 and beyond, they really start to catch up and even outperform locks and mages and do quite well. It looks like he might have tier 6 on, by the looks of the helmet. Is that tier 6 though? It looks like a recolor. Isn't tier 6 like kind of bluish blackish?
Well, the recolor would be the PvP gear, but that is T6, I think.
That is T6.
About the PvP set one, yeah.
Yeah, we got this one, 3,200. Highjaw. This is the Fathom Lord boss you're talking about, Ale. 3345 on oh no, this is BT, sorry. This is BT. BT.
Hey, look at that. That's a single target fight right there, right?
Yep.
Oh
yeah? Wow.
That's nutty, man.
Wow. Oh, guys, yeah, the new mount.
Yeah. That's we were actually totally forgot about that. We were gonna troll you guys.
I know.
We were gonna troll you. Pretty much. These came out. It was an April Fool's joke.
As far as we know, I mean.
Yeah. You never know, right? But I did hear that from Crix as well, though. That tier 6 and beyond, and in Sunwell, like not only did they catch up, like they legitimately crush the DPS like in those tiers, Fury Warriors and Rogues. They start to what extent, I don't have the first-hand experience myself, right? So I don't want to talk out of my ass, but apparently they do like really well. It's not like they just catch up in their middle of the pack. We'll have to see.
When Rogues get glaives, man, it's no joke. And
yep.
But that's the thing, right? Like a lot of people are so stuck on to. That's why I'm really excited for TBC, and I want it to be a little bit like we were talking about before we started. I definitely think there is a good amount of mystery still in TBC. I think there's a good amount of knowledge that still needs to be accumulated. There's a lot of min-max. There's a lot of testing that has to go on, and that's something that I'm really looking forward to. Like I want to be surprised, right? I want to see things that I wasn't expecting. And I think that's definitely possible. And the fact that there's no world buffs, right? Ooh. No freaking world buffs. There's nothing, not even going to be having Dark Moon Fair, right? Because it's all wiped off now. I thought maybe that, Dark Moon Fair would still be available. This and that. No world buffs. Obviously, we got to see what's going on with drums and whatnot. But, it comes down to, skill and being prepared. And I think hopefully we're going to be pleasantly surprised in TBC with seeing how some of these classes perform.
We forgot to talk about that too, though, Def. We were going to talk about it, remember?
Oh, right. The world buff.
And Classic.
Yes, yeah.
So maybe you can summarize it best, Ale. You talked about it before we started the show today. You guys hear about that, chat?
Which part? The TBC or the Classic one?
But I guess for both. Just the whole world buff conversation.
Yeah, so on the PTR they've added an item where you can basically like save all your world buffs, right? It's like a 6-second cast. It takes all your world buffs off you, and then you can't get them again for an hour. And then you can put them on you. It breaks the item. You get basically buy from Chromie. I believe it's 10 gold, and it puts all the buffs back on you, and it makes it so it'll allow you to play your character and save your buffs for when you actually want to use them. So go raid or things like that. So it's something that Blizzard's added on the PTR. That they said will be going live before TBC and on Classic Forever servers. So,
yeah, it was a little like people are like, oh, well, it's a little late, but I mean, like at least it'll be available for the people for the Forever servers, like you said.
I don't like it personally.
You don't like it?
You don't like it? Okay. Why is that?
No, here's the thing. So, I like the idea, right? I think world buffs are what partially ruined class experience for a lot of people. However, you got to go one way or the other. You either take them out or you literally just give them to people, right? So the problem with this is that you're already spending money. A lot of guilds, don't have like a very solid infrastructure like we do. We get Songflower summons or whatever, but you still have to go out, go to Dire Maul, pay the person who cleared Dire Maul, pay the person you just got summoned to Hakar, pay the person that summoned you to Songflower, and now you got to pay 10 more gold to get this item every week, right? Because it breaks upon use, right, Al?
Yep.
Yeah. So like, just either give us the buffs or just take them out of the game.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, Tyrannosaur makes a really good point, though. He said anyone who says it's a little late needs to consider that if they had done it too early on in vanilla, that people would have had to go through the struggle to appreciate the change. So if people didn't get traumatized by world buffs, maybe if they did this at the very start, people would be like, no changes.
But we all knew, everyone who played private servers already knew how bad it was going to be, right?
Well, it wasn't as bad on private servers, but yeah.
I mean, but we still knew how all-encompassing it would be, right? Like,
oh yeah.
That's why I made that video. Like it's like. So they and Def, like I don't. This is not pointed towards like drug use, but like I looked them as drug use, right? It's doping.
That's like using steroids, yeah.
So essentially, like what they do in Philadelphia with like heroin, they actually have heroin distribution places and allow people to like safely use. Like
injection sites, yeah.
Like literally just have an NPC standing in Orgrimmar, you click one button, you get the buffs. Like just either go one way or the other.
Hell? That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, it's true. That's
Wait, don't they do that in China though? I heard they do that in China. That's the thing. Like you literally can go to a vendor and get an Oni buff. Like you just get it.
Yeah, like it's so weird to me that there's this middle ground. I don't understand. Like either delete them from the game or just give them to us.
Yeah. It solves like 1/3 of the problem of world buffs because there's like the issue of people not playing, which is obviously
exactly.
It's really important for the game just to have people like actually playing. Like me, I've just leveled up other characters to play, right? The other issue, is actually like the tedium of having to go and get them in the paying and stuff like this. And then another one is the potential PvP, right? So I think people want the tedium removed, but there's also a certain amount of people who still want to have that PvP as well. I don't mean like dispelling, but just like, the fighting over getting them and stuff. Like, I don't know what that's like. Server I play on has no other faction, so it doesn't really matter as much to me in that regards, where there are some people who do like having that because it forces people to go out of the cities and, interact with the world, at least to some extent, even though after you don't, right? So,
yeah, I guess.
That is an opinion that people
is getting
have.
summoned from place to place, interacting with the world, though.
So, is the change they're making you want to play Classic more or less?
Well, the problem is the main problem, in my opinion, with the world buffs is when you lose them in a raid because something happens. It's very bad for the morale and it feels shit. So I rather have no world buffs at all.
Oh, me too, Unity, and I agree with you 100%. But if you're going to do so, like this is the next bit, you either get rid of them or you make them easier to get. Those are the two things you can do, in my opinion. And this is the less of the two things I would have liked to see. But just give us an NPC in Orgrimmar. You click the guy, he gives you the buffs. You go to raid. Right? I know that kills people who make money off of the world buff thing, and I feel you. But this just makes getting them even more of a pain in the ass for most people. Honestly, it doesn't improve the situation.
How's
What that would do, there needs to
Because
be.
you got to spend more
that-
money each week. 10
yeah.
gold.
If you have an NPC, what it would do is every time the raid wipes, you go back to Stormwind, grab
Well,
it,
in my opinion,
summon
there
back.
should be a cooldown on that. You
Yeah,
shouldn't
I
just
guess
be able
so.
to get buffed automatically. Like that's just.
I feel like they make
Yeah.
it way too complicated for something that's easily fixed by just removing
Removing
it.
them.
So yeah,
I would have seen that. I would have rather seen them, I think, removed completely. You know, and like a lot of people say, like, oh, you know, world buffs was kind of fun and Nax or whatever, but like, you know, people would have still been able to clear it without the world buffs. Would have been much more challenging. I personally, like Kargoz said, what you said is like, does it make you want to feel play classic more? No, because I'm just 100% wanting to play TBC, but I think it is, for some people, like Al said, being able to now play your character after getting world buffs will feel good for a lot of people, right? So,
but the NPC thing would do the same thing.
Yeah,
you can literally play all week and then go get them right before raid.
The whole NPC thing. I just doesn't feel.
So you're happy with how they have it right now, Dev? I'm just kind of curious, man.
I'm not happy. I'm like, so, like,
Yeah, you're gonna play. Honestly, answer this question. You're gonna play your priest more now that this is out.
Oh no! Like I said, I'm gonna be playing on TBC.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
so
like, there's a lot of people that
it's not gonna affect me at all, honestly. So like I'm saying, it's not like I'm happy or.
Would you guys play Classic Fresh again? This is a question for chat too. Let's say TBC's out for a year, right? So like we're through a good amount of it. The hype has kind of settled a bit. It's an amazing game. It always will be. And they launched like Classic Era Fresh with these changes that they just implemented for world buffs.
Well, TBC still available to play though at this point?
Yeah, with TBC still available to play.
No, I'd still play TBC.
You would? Damn, son.
I like know me, Kargoz. I like TBC more than Classic.
Yeah, we were Classic Andes.
So.
What happened?
If
I'm not gonna lie though.
Were removed Kargoz, I would play Classic again.
No way, really? That's the difference maker for you? Straight up removed?
I would
play?
go.
It's literally the worst part of the game.
It's definitely
Holy shit.
I would go through a full cycle of TBC before I play Classic. But then after it, I would definitely play Classic again. But I feel like they need to make more changes than just the world buffs. They need to change the mage boosting thing.
That too.
Is probably as important as the world buffs because it feels really shitty to level now.
That's the second most. Maybe bots are close second.
Bots. I was gonna say bots.
Yeah, it's either the bots or the boosting that's number 2.
Yeah. I mean, I'm glad they did something. Personally, and for the people who are going to be playing Classic and not playing TBC, I'm happy for them, because like I said, they can actually, play their characters now if they want to, and not have to worry about, logging off all week or, if you get DMF or whatever. So, I'm glad they did something for it,
But there's a second piece of news that Al was going to say.
Yeah?
Right.
Yeah,
second
piece of will not be any world buffs in TBC at all. They'll be removed upon an encounter start.
Thank you, Lord.
How hype is that,
trash
though, really? What do
or
you mean?
boss?
Is that Songflower? Is that like the ones you get from
That's
Zangarmarsh?
Darkmoon Fair.
Oh, DMF? Okay.
Yeah, as far as I know, it's everything. I think they've been also looking into the other ones, like the Botanica buff, the haste buff from the ads in.
Wait, is that confirmed? By
He's in the
Blizzard?
Blueface. Yeah.
Oh wow, I missed that.
Well, that's
And
pretty
is
wasn't
that
it
in
direct?
raids only?
Yeah, you're excited then, right? Because you don't want world buffs and raids, and people would find these world buffs. Maybe Blizzard they were able to guess that people would use them in the same way they did in Classic, and they're pretty much taking them out.
Is that in raids only, or is it in
Dungeons
every
as well?
dungeon as well?
So my question is, these Hellfire, like the Hellfire bonus buff you get here, like it's damage or something you get in here. There's one for Akendu and there's one for all of them. They weren't working in the dungeons before early in the beta. I don't know if that was intended or if that's part of the world buff change.
Well, we saw, Ale and I saw, and I think Josh was with us as well, it worked in one of the dungeons and not the other. I think it was a bug. Like, we went into Crypts and it was working, and then we went into Mana Tombs and it wasn't working.
Yeah.
And
Also,
that was
you have
that
to
was
watch if
week
you're
one.
PvP flag or not, because if you're PvP flag, a lot of times you won't get certain buffs and whatnot. But yeah, I think this is huge because we were worried about, is Darkmoon Fair going to still be around? People are going to be going to get Darkmoon Fair buffs, bringing the raid, this and the other. I am very, very happy to know. Like, listen, the content doesn't need to be made easier. If anything, it needs to I think we need to get like they did with the pre-nerf content and stuff, right? So I'm really happy with this. I'm really looking forward to like the pre-nerf bosses and all without any role buffs. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe a little challenging. Who knows?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have the games challenging to be more challenging than to be more accessible, honestly. Because there's only one tier of raid difficulty in TBC, right? It's not like retail where you have multiple options. You don't.
Correct. I'm very excited to see how hard these heroics are, man. And we'll likely get to test those on the beta, right? Like, they'll likely put that in. Same with the raid testing and stuff. Man, do you think we'll be able to test a pre-nerf boss in the beta soon with gear? Like, are we going to... I think the first pre-raid boss would be, like...
Rules?
No, well, there's the dragon in Kara, the one that puts the skeletons.
Oh, I meant Kara. I'm sorry.
And then there's also Magtheridons with the cubes.
With the cubes, right?
I don't know if there's anything nerfed with Gruul, maybe. But,
I don't remember now. Yeah, I think it wasn't. Was it not Gruul's? Wasn't it the guys before Gruul? Something happened. Something got nerfed. I thought.
The hiking Mulgore.
Mulgore. Yeah, I forget now. But yeah, Magtheridon. It's so funny. I don't even remember. I remember when it got. I always all my memories are doing it with multiple cubes, not one. I don't. When did that get nerfed? Was that must have been? Anyway, whatever. Yeah. I think a lot of this, looking forward, like with the pre-nerf bosses, obviously private server values are probably going to be more difficult anyway than the pre-nerf, right? Because private server values, a lot of the bosses had increased armor, did more damage, right? So I'm not expecting things to be private server level, because I remember doing heroics on Warmane. They were there were times we wiped, and even in Kara gear, right? Even in having like Primal Moonklaw set and all, the heroics in the private servers were pretty difficult. I hope it feels that way in TBC. I really do. I want to have that challenge with heroics initially on, because there's such amazing content. I love doing heroics. I think they're one of the most fun parts of TBC.
Melderon has already said that Nax is hard enough to justify using world buffs. Every other raid is somewhat trivialized with mass world buffing, though. Do you think that actually...
Yeah, so world buffs... I'm not saying that world buffs are very interesting in Nax. It's the only raid that they're interesting in my opinion. So if Blizzard were to keep them in, I would only keep them in for the last tier, but you still shouldn't... We've cleared every boss without them. So... it just speeds up things. That's all it does, and it makes people happier because the pumpers get the pump, right? That's the thing about world buffs, is that the pumpers get the pump.
It does sound like a drug, bro. Yeah, literally.
It is, bro. It's literally a drug, man. That's what it is. It's a drug. It's all it is.
That's funny, bro.
Yeah. So it's like we've seen the encounters with them. We've seen the encounters without them. And it is more engaging with them, 100%. I'm not saying it's not more engaging, but can you say that you beat the game if you've only cleared them with world buffs? That's the point I'm trying to get at. Can you? And I'm asking that as a philosophical question. I'm not answering the question.
Yeah, I think you can. You kill KT, you beat the game.
But don't you? But can't you? Is there a party that realizes that there's a harder version of that?
Yeah, it's kind of like killing.
Sort of, but that's so like unclassic though, in the sense that classic is all about using weird stuff. Like that's the one iteration of the game where you had to like think outside of the box to just use little weird nifty things from the world to like help you, and you're using sticky glues and slumber sands on the
world buffs
on the
are
end
different,
guys.
I understand what you're saying, but world buffs are different.
You're taking a little power spike from Yojamba Isle and taking it into like this ice ground.
But they take no skill, Kargoz. There's no skill involved in getting world buffs, right?
True. Well, it takes patience and perseverance though, and that's part of this.
Yeah,
that's part of the skill in classic WoW. People always say it's not necessary. It's about the logistics and the
I mean, you know, if you have money, you just get summoned everywhere, right? So it's not that big of a deal. But like, I look at, I think world buffs are more attuned to like LFR, you know, especially if you're doing like world buffs MC or like, I'm not saying it's exactly what it is, but I would say it's more attuned to that than anything else.
Yep.
Yeah, but they do provide. And Navik is a really good person to talk about this stuff with, because he's like, they do provide a. It's like a mini game. How long can you keep them, and how many people can you keep alive with them? In that aspect, if you look at it from that way, it can be a lot more interesting to people, right? And that's why in Nax I feel like it's kind of almost getting to the point where it's interesting. But come on, AQ, BWL, you know, it's just a massacre at that point.
That's why it's fun for speedruns, because like you lose some road buffs, and like that makes a huge difference, because every second counts, and even just having to like res somebody, like that takes time, and you lose mana equity as well, a huge chunk of mana. So like that's kind of the mini game that comes into play a lot in like top end speedrunning, is like getting to the end with as many people alive with world buffs as possible. Is
speedrunning is the meta of classic WoW raiding, though, right? Like that's where people have fun. Like they improve each week. And does speedrunning become more fun or less fun without world buffs, or you know? With
well, we'll have to see in TBC, right? How it is. I think it's going to be more fun. Honestly, I think. You know, I personally do. I think it's going to be cooler to. Because it's like that. It's all on your own Steam, right? I mean, you'll have Flask and you'll have other shit, but. I think speedrunning in TBC will be more
the thing that I keep coming back to is that Kevin Jordan himself said we never intended for these buffs to stack, right? And that's the thing that I think to myself, like, okay, then it's not supposed to be there. If the developer of the game said it, right?
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, and he was not a nobody. He was like one of the pillars who made the game.
He created the classes and their talent trees.
For sure, yeah.
So like, you know, I mean, speedrunning is one thing, right? But not a lot of, but like, what percentage of the population is speedrunning, right? So I understand the point of liking world buffs if you're speedrunning high par skilled. I get that. It's all about performance at that point. So again, that's just my perspective, right? It's just like, I'm just thinking to myself, you know, would Classic have been better without them? I don't know. I think it would have been. I think more people would have kept playing. But I'm really looking forward to TBC.
Me too, man. We all are.
I am, yeah.
And with that, boys, let's round it out. We've been here for 2.5 hours. It's been a great sesh. We didn't cover all the classes.
Hell yeah.
I didn't think we would. We got through about a third of them or something. We can keep it going. It's always fun to talk about the classes, right?
We got to talk about Priest. Come on. We got to, not now, but in the future. Well, I'll be streaming later. We can talk about Priest then, but you know, later next time we'll continue off where we left off and hopefully do the rest of the classes, right?
Yep.
Definitely.
Are you about to stream, Ale? You want the host?
Yeah, I'm going now.
Okay, he's going live. Guys, where can we find everybody in this call? There's got to be a few new people here, especially with TBC coming. We got to get everyone's channels out there. Where can they find you, Dunadan?
Well, still on YouTube, but there's not very much interesting on it right now. I can link my Discord, so you can come say hi, maybe join the fellowship for now or TBC, or just come have a social running around in the guild. I will link in a second.
Okay, very nice. Very nice. Def Camp and Melderon, pillars of the community already, but in case you don't follow them already, where can they find you guys?
Go ahead.
Def Camp Melderon TV on YouTube. I just put up I'm doing a little series thing where I'm doing every Shaman Spec, just a quick dungeon playthrough so people can see them. I just did the rest of one today. I'll be working on the enhancement and the elemental ones next. So just like a short 16-minute video, just running through Arcanite Crypts. I actually did it with Pilaf.
Oh wow!
There you go.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah.
And then you can find me also on obviously on Def Camp Melderon TV. I stream on both the YouTube channel and at twitch.tv/defcamp. Been streaming every day for about the past 2 weeks. So probably primarily play Priest in the beta. Getting the level cap soon. I am going to stream tonight, but like I said, I just got my shots. I'm kind of a little tired, so I'll probably be on a little bit later. But yeah, you can find us streaming. Melderon streams also sometimes as well. And you can find us on YouTube, Def Camp Melderon, and Twitch.tv/Defcamp.
Sounds good, boys. With that, everyone, we're going to host Dale. He's going to continue the party. It's not going to stop here. He'll probably be playing some beta. And we'll see you next time on Good Morning Azeroth. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. 59 episodes together. And I know some of you have been here from the very start, so really do appreciate your time and hope you have a good day.
Keep on grinding, boys.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.